What is up, boxing fans, Fight Hype family around the world, around the country? Tonight we got Shakur Stevenson against Yoshino, the 16-0, fourth-ranked WBC lightweight in the world, taking on Shakur Stevenson in his first fight at lightweight. Although, you know, technically, if you count Conceição as him fighting at lightweight, but Conceição was at 130, even though Shakur came in a little over. But yes, tonight marks the real debut of Shakur Stevenson, one of the best fighters in America, one of the best fighters in the world, pound for pound. Still young with a lot to prove, but already a proven guy. Former unified champ, moving up to 35. So, you know, what am I doing here? What am I doing? I'm acting like we don't have an official theme music to get the thing started. All right, tonight on Fight Hype Live, it's a top-ranked card. Can't wait to really get to the main three fights of the three exciting youngsters Top Rank has in Jared Anderson, Keyshawn Davis, the prospect of the year for 2022. Jared Anderson was the prospect of the year for 2021, the most exciting young American heavyweight in boxing. And then, of course, in the main event, sure thing, you know, I call him sure thing Shakur Stevenson because it was a sure thing that he'd wind up on the pound-for-pound list coming out of the Olympics. And Shakur fighting at home, fighting in Brick City, the home of Redman and so many greats. But Stevenson expected to be a big favorite in this fight because Yoshino, a tough guy. These guys from Japan are a little more explosive than they used to be. They've always had great conditioning and thrown a lot of punches and had tough chins. But these guys from Japan now, like Inoue, what's my man, Junto Nakatani down at 112, 115. These guys are hitting harder and they're a little more explosive now. And Yoshino isn't as explosive as those two guys, Nakatani and Inoue or Kazuta Ioka. But he's got some pop at 12 knockouts, 16 wins. Probably, as Floyd Mayweather used to say, a little too straight up and down to beat a Shakur Stevenson. You know, a guy with a good high guard who's going to bring the pressure, but that should play into the sharpshooting through that high guard of Shakur Stevenson. And I actually expect Shakur Stevenson to touch the body quite a bit in this fight, to exploit the guy keeping his hands up, feint him, make him pick the hands up and stab the body. I expect a lot of that from Shakur Stevenson tonight. So that'll do it for the official live music. But how is everyone doing in the chat? I know we got some MMA, we got some UFC on the channel tonight when my man Ron Goodall and Alan Dawson are going to do some of that MMA stuff tonight. UFC, whichever number it is. You know, I'm not familiar. I think it's Alex Pereira against another fighter. I'm not sure, but maybe Israel Adonesia. But right here is the boxing live stream. And right now I'm really waiting to get into the meat of the card, which of course is the three, you know, bright future youngsters in Stevenson, Davis, and Anderson. And right now I think we got Curtis Harper in the ring. Curtis Harper, that famous viral moment where he walked out of the ring fighting Ife Ajagba when Ajagba was still undefeated and on the PBC. And looks like that's the fight we're at right now before we get to the real main three fights I'm looking forward to talking about. I'm you says different sport, but who you got in the UFC fight? I don't know, man. I'm not familiar with UFC whatsoever, really. Just a boxing guy, so I can't answer. Onikachi Jennifer back here again from Nigeria. Good to see you, Jennifer. I remember you for the Isaac Dogbe fight against Robezi Ramirez last Saturday. Good to see you again. Fire in my bones. Good to see you again. Says he's watching some college softball until the main cards come on. Shakur and Frank Martin are my favorite fighters at lightweight right now, says Fire in my bones. Goody Guitar Man is not feeling it, is not feeling the hype tonight. He says these are hype jobs. I disagree. I'm high on Anderson. I do think Anderson is becoming a little irresponsible defensively, and a guy like a Johnny Rice zapping him with a right hand to make him think twice about what's coming back would do him some good right now, because that he's a little reckless. He has no respect for the other guy across from him, and you like that in a young heavyweight. You like that he's not playing with his food and that he means bad business at a young age in the heavyweight division. But once he climbs the levels and fights more elite tier heavyweights, he's got to be more concerned and more responsible defensively with what's coming back. And right now, none of these guys he's blowing through are giving him that respect. And I think a guy like Johnny Rice could hit him with a right hand that would at least make him make him start to respect the heavyweights he'll be going up against going forward. So, but I that may not be the case tonight. Maybe another walkover for Jared Anderson, and then Keyshawn Davis has got Anthony Yigit, whose most notable fight was a somewhat competitive fight with Rolly Romero before Rolly got him out of there in about 6 rounds. Efficient Mindset says, I'm always enjoying your commentary. Thank you, Efficient. My man Jeremiah, good to see Jeremiah in the chat. A little late getting to you, Jeremiah. Three pumps. My man 3 pumps is in the chat. My regulars, Jeremiah and 3 pumps. Good to see you guys. The Bronco Kid. My man, the Bronco Kid, is in the chat. Good to see you. 808 in the house says, Los perros son feliz. Felice. I don't know. I tried it. Roy Rogers. What's up, Roy Rogers? Split X6 says Shakur has no power. I disagree. He's got enough to make you think twice. It's why a guy like Nakatia, who threw a lot of combinations against him, I mean, a lot of that has to do with defense, too. You don't throw as much when the guy's making you miss every shot. But he did have enough power to make Nakatia just throw 1 punch at a time. He handcuffed Jamel Herring. Oscar Valdez, the one time he said, you know what, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of dying this slow death in this tactical chess match. I'm going to try and make it a fight. And he really opened up and tried to explode with some power shots. He immediately got countered and dropped. And that tamed him. And that's why guys like Floyd Mayweather, Shakur Stevenson, every now and then their fights can get dull because they actually have enough pop, along with the defense and the skills, to disarm and handcuff the opponent to where they don't really want to throw that much. And a lot of their offense can be, Haney, Stevenson, Floyd, could be contingent upon what the other guys bring in their way. If they got Ricky Hatton or Marcos Maidana in front of them, then you could get a fun fight because he's forcing the fight, he's forcing the pace and the punch output to go up. But if these guys get tamed in the first half of the fight by some sharp counters and it makes them think twice about opening up, that's what brings down the pace. They get tamed. And at that point, those guys are kind of coasting and doing enough to win the round and get the check and get the decision and move on to the next. So, but I do think he has some pop, does Stevenson. Definitely not a puncher. Definitely not a knockout artist, but enough to keep the other guy honest, to keep him respectful. And case in point was Valdez. After that knockdown, the tactical chess match resumed. Valdez was starting to get anxious, wanted to make a fight out of it. And that's why you see less guys make a fight out of it, because trying to open up with big shots gets you countered more. And, that's what happened there. That said, there's been times Shakur hasn't kept his foot on the gas and put forth a complete performance, especially as a young fighter. Because, Floyd, when he was young, was putting on complete performances, trying to close the show a lot of the time, put combinations together. And against guys like Nakatia, he didn't really put combinations together. And the fight did become dull. He was fighting a tall guy who has some power that'll keep you honest, but still, that for example wasn't a complete performance. It was a pretty dominant performance, but not a complete performance. Trainers like Emmanuel Stewart, they wouldn't consider that a complete performance because you didn't put combinations together and you didn't try to close the show. Even if you don't get the knockout or a knockdown, you try to do like Stephen Fulton did with Danny Roman. You try to close those last 2 or 3 rounds, really putting it closing the show. And that's something Stevenson hasn't done in some of his fights. So, there's always room to critique even the best fighters. Split 6S says Shakur will never be great. Shakur is nothing but flash. Easy fight for Shakur. Just reading, so you got some people in the chat who ain't sold on Shakur Stevenson. Deborah McClung, good to see you again. How you doing? Good to see you in the chat. Fire in my bones is that's my worry with Haney against Loma. Does he have enough pop to discourage Loma from angling in? I think Haney has enough activity, size, length, skills, speed, youth, that even if the pop isn't particularly troubling Loma, and I think it will because those punches sting against a guy like Haney, even if they're not concussive, heavy-handed blows that can, remove you from your senses and knock you out. They still sting. Those fast shots, they sting. They make you think twice about coming in. So we'll see. I expect Lomachenko to have some moments in there. And by the way, Curtis Harper is hurt along the ropes in the 8th round of his fight. Curtis Harper looks like he's about to go down. Referee has called the fight. Curtis Harper gets stopped in this last round. Let me see here. Yeah. Curtis Harper getting stopped, and now we're on to the main 3 fights. But yeah, so Bronco Kid said, what's up, Zattel? What's up, Bronco Kid? Always good to see you. Charles N, my man Charles N, one of my regulars. Good to see you, brother. Says, never underestimate the Japanese fighter. Thank you for the super chat, my man. Yeah, and again, to touch on your part, Charles. Look, I don't give Yoshino much of a chance tonight. As Floyd used to say about some guys, he's too straight up and down. And it's not like he's this straight up and down high guard fighter who's packing tremendous power, fights at a tremendous pace, has a great jab, to come in behind that high guard with, like Virgil Ortiz, like Golovkin. So, but Yoshino is a tough guy, solid pop, strong. He's a legitimate 135 pounder. He's going to be the strongest guy Shakur's probably ever been in the ring with at this point. But kind of like Ryoto Murata at middleweight, a strong guy, but not a fast guy. A guy that the more talented elite fighters can pick apart. And that's what I think Shakur will... He'll just pick apart that those fundamentally sound high guard of Yoshino. And I actually think Shakur... I saw him spar about 10 days ago, about 2 weeks ago. The fight week of Benavidez Plant. My man Ron Goodall headed down to the top-ranked gym with him, watched Shakur spar, and... I feel comfortable saying this now because it's fight night. It's not like Yoshino's team could catch this. He was stabbing the body a whole lot with a guy trying to keep that high guard on him like Yoshino would. And he was just stabbing the body with the jab, stabbing the body with a straight left hand. And so I kind of expect to see some of that from Shakur in this fight. A lot of stabs to the body against the high guard of Yoshino. But Charles, to not underestimate the Japanese fighters, when you look at Junto Nakatani or Inoue, even Ioka, Kazuto Ioka, these are guys that are cracking and have some explosiveness to them in athleticism, whereas a lot of the Japanese fighters I'd see over the years were tough, great conditioning, throw a lot of punches, but not the most talented guys. And I feel like, especially with Junto Nakatani and Inoue, these guys are getting more talented and explosive and athletic now. So, Yoshino, not quite like those guys. A little bit more like Murata. Strong, sturdy, fundamentally sound, but easy to pick apart at the elite level. And that's what I think happens. Efficient Mindset said the best division in boxing right now is the 135-pounders. I think it's the deepest, most talent-rich division, but they got to fight each other, and we've begun to do that. Martin fought Michelle Rivera in a good undefeated contender showdown. Haney and Lomachenko are getting it on. Ryan and Tank are getting it on. But I think the 3 best fighters in the division, Davis, Haney, and Stevenson, no matter how you rank them, I don't think they're close to fighting each other just yet. I think those fights are headed for marination. There's a chance that Stevenson and Haney could mix it up sooner than you would think, because there is a path to making that fight. Stevenson's at lightweight, Haney beats Lomachenko, and if he still feels comfortable at the weight, and if Top Rank offers him enough money to want to re-sign because he will be a free agent, then maybe we do wind up getting Stevenson and Haney this early this early in their career, because, back in the day in the 80s, Leonard Hearns fought at 23-25, but that was the 80s. Nowadays, you're lucky if you get them in their 20s at all. So we'll see, but lightweight is probably the most talent-rich division in boxing, but all that talent is no good if the best matchups aren't made, and they began to be made, thankfully. So, D1, Sean, what card you doing? Shakur? Yeah, I'm doing Shakur, no doubt. Let me see who asked that. Hickson said, Sean, you saw Shakur spar? I did. Seen Shakur spar a few times. I saw Shakur spar Keyshawn Davis back in 2019, 2020, during the pandemic. And their sparring session taught me once and for all how important feinting is, because without feints, both guys being so fast and accurate and smart and sharp, it was like a 50-50 gamble whenever both guys wanted to open up and throw a punch, because at that point, they're both super good in the exchanges, fast, good eyes, reflexes. So there was so much feinting between Shakur and Keyshawn in that sparring session, because if they try to throw punches naked, let's call it, just bing, 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 and let them go, the other guy could match it so quickly. So it was all about who could feint the other guy into a better position before throwing, and that was the guy who would wind up landing. Because anytime they would kind of get off at the same time or throw without the feint. It was 50-50, 50-50. So the only way they could get advantage on the other was out feinting the other guy. So take with that what you will. Hickson said, how do you even get to see sparring matches? Well, living here in Vegas, covering boxing out here in Vegas, paying a visit to the gym. Now, the rule is no footage. I'm never, you usually, unless they're young prospects or guys who haven't turned pro yet, you're not going to be able to film the footage. So you just leave the camera in the car and you enjoy the work. And that's what I've gotten to do with Haney, Stevenson, Davis, multiple times. Benavidez, Plant. I've seen a lot of top fighters in this era spar up close. So I'm very fortunate for that. Cheek Eye says, cut your hair. Chat, let him know the hair was so much longer for most of these lives. And it's actually at a pretty reasonable length these days. Ford doing some work on Magdaleno's split six. Let me see that. I love Jesse Magdaleno because he actually came up at my gym. It was his gym, not my gym. Here at Barry's Boxing, where Tank Davis had his workout. Barry's Boxing Gym here in Vegas. I used to spar Jesse and his brother Diego growing up. But despite that, I kind of favored Raymond Ford heading into this fight. So right now we're just waiting for the Keyshawn Davis and Jared Anderson fights to begin. And for a moment here, I'm gonna take a quick look at Raymond Ford and Jesse Magdaleno in round 8 of their fight. Two southpaws. Magdaleno, a 122-pounder, former champion, beat Donaire years ago. But not in his natural weight class, and against an ascending force, an undefeated kid in Raymond Ford. So heading into this, I expected Ford to get the better of this fight. And Magdaleno looks tired going back to his corner after round 8. So let me see. Red said, Sean, what is good? What's good, Red? That's not Red from Team Crawford, is it? Shout out to you if it is. Smooth operator, pen and paper. Yes, sir. How do I know when someone's in a specific gym, Hickson? It just kind of happenstance. You stay plugged into the local gym scene and you hear things. This guy's training here at this time and this and that. And it just kind of happens from going to the gyms in Vegas throughout the years. Jonathan Stagg says, I'm new. Nice community. Good to hear that, man. Happy you're enjoying it. Molly Mall. Good to see you, Molly Mall. Good to see you, Molly Mall. Am I watching the Fundora Mendoza fight at the same time tonight? If we can make it work, if I can catch, if Stevenson wraps up, if the times don't conflict, then I would love to do a round by round for Fundora's fight. Magdaleno coming out for the 9th round, swelling around both eyes. Raymond Ford's face is clean. So the younger, fresher, at more natural featherweight, as expected, looks like he's getting the better of the former world champion Jesse Magdaleno right here. They're trading jabs to start round 9, and Ford's jab is a little sharper and finding the mark better than Magdaleno's jab. Out-jabbing him there, the two southpaws. But, Love Always says, Stevenson versus Haney. Who do you think wins and how? Great question. That's a great fight. I actually think that's a fight that, despite both kind of being counterpunchers and pure boxers, that if you look at their sparring session from when they're teenagers, their styles might make for a more entertaining fight than people would think. I favor Haney because he's more active and he's bigger, longer. Stevenson starting at 126. Haney beginning at 135 is the natural lightweight. He throws more punches than Stevenson and has longer arms to get off first at long range. Now, that said, Stevenson's a little more fundamentally sound than Devin. I think Devin's more dynamic. Devin tries out and does more different things in the ring. Stevenson sticks to his arsenal and has mastered it. But Devin's a little more creative and a little bit more active and a little bigger. So I actually give the edge to Haney in that fight. No, I'm Team Spence. Respect to Crawford, though. Red, yeah, Red, because there's a Red, inside Team Crawford. But you're Team Spence. All right, good. Thanks for clearing that up. So is Jared Anderson really the goods? Oh, Sonia Dumas, great to see you, Sonia Dumas, as always in the chat. Great to see you, Sonia. Molly, who asked if Jared Anderson, do I think he's the goods? Someone asked that. Well, Bronco Kid, is Jared Anderson really the goods? I think offensively he definitely is. The question marks are the size. He's not little. He's bigger than a guy like Alexander Usyk or Mike Hunter or even Richard Torres, his stablemate. But at 6'4", he's not as big as the Giants' Fury, 6'9", Wilder, 6'7", Joshua, 6'6", Joe Joyce, 6'6", 6'7". So in today's heavyweight division, he's not the biggest guy. And lately, he's kind of reckless defensively. And I don't think that's because of a talent or ability. I think it's because he's 13-0, 13 knockouts, and he's going to keep mowing these guys down with no respect until someone like maybe a Johnny Rice or someone like that hits him with a right hand that makes him start to respect fighters in the heavyweight division. Because right now he's out for blood and he doesn't have any. So I do think getting wobbled, getting hurt, maybe even getting dropped right now would do him some good because he's not thinking defense a whole lot. And what he does offensively is beautiful. He's so fluid. He's fluid like a smaller man than a heavyweight. He can throw combinations. He can go to the body, and he's not stiff. He could do it like a middleweight, like a light heavyweight, So that's what makes Jared Anderson special. Is the only other guy as fluid as him is like a Tyson Fury, in terms of not having that stiff. And Deontay Wilder is very explosive and athletic, has speed, but he's a little stiff, a little herky-jerky. Jared Anderson, very fluid, like a guy smaller than a heavyweight. But there is some questions about the defense and the size. But that said, I like Jared Anderson. I do think he's the goods, but I do think he's bound to get hurt soon, maybe even dropped. And when that happens, don't go, oh, hype job. Look, he got dropped. This is the heavyweight division. Things like that can happen. And when that happens, I think it'll do him some good. So that's my prognostic. That's my prognosis right now on Jared Anderson. I definitely like him. Jeremiah said, my man Jeremiah, will we be watching the Fundora fight? Yeah, I hope so. As long as the times don't interfere, as long as I can still call that Stevenson fight, then yeah. But if I have to choose one over the other, we're gonna go Shakur Stevenson tonight. So I know the Fundora Mendoza fight will probably turn out to be a more action-packed fight, but I think a top 10 pound-for-pound guy takes precedent over an action fight. That's just how I look at it. Still waiting on Jared and Keyshawn to get going. Hickson said, Sean, have you ever seen Canelo spar? I haven't. I haven't seen Canelo spar. It's a little tougher to get into a gym like Canelo. So, let me see what else. Didn't he give Tyson Fury a black eye in camp? Asked Molly Mall. What I heard was, so the official word, I should say, the word I got from people that actually really were there when Tyson and Jared sparred was that it was all-out war and that Jared showed no respect for Fury, which aligns with what I'm talking about, with what he's been showing in his fights. That he had no respect for Fury and that it was a war and that nobody was knocked down. There was no knockdown. That was hype. No one got knocked out, let alone even dropped. But that they were talking a lot of shit to each other. Jared Anderson was calling Fury a bitch. Fury was calling Jared Anderson a bitch back. They were talking. No one was backing down. They were going back and forth like a fight, not like a sparring session. But from what I hear from what people who were there for the multiple sparring sessions, no one got dropped. So... that's the real word on the street from people that were there. Three Pumps says Fundora throws his hands, no doubt. Well, Fundora to me is the definition of a fan favorite, like a fan-friendly fighter. What's there not to like about him? He's a nice kid. I mean, if you're a purist, maybe he drives you nuts a little bit because he doesn't have a jab with all that height, and he gives up his height, and his chin's up sometimes, but... I mean, if you're a boxing fan, the guy, he's a great kid, by the way. Great kid. And so exciting. Throws hellacious uppercuts. Gets, all this leverage on him and throws him from Australia and brings him all the way up Shoryuken style like he's in Street Fighter. And he can't possibly be in a boring fight. So I got a lot of love for Sebastian Fundora. But we got to go with Stevenson tonight. Easy E, the little stud, said, hi. Hello, Easy E, the little stud. Good to see you, my man. How did Kelvin and Shushu do? Richard, I don't know how Kelvin Davis did yet, the brother of Keyshawn Davis, but I know Shushu Carrington took care of business and looked very good as usual. I definitely am high on Shushu as a prospect. He's a good prospect. Rodrigo da Silva, how you doing, brother? I see you in the chat. We already almost got 300 people in here. Easy E says, I'm your biggest fan. Say hi. You got it, Easy E. I'm sorry, brother. I know you had to type it about 15 times. My bad. So shout out to you, Easy E. Oh, my man Motherfucker is in the chat. Some of the best have been hurt early on. Yeah, oh, absolutely, Motherfucker. Yeah, and again, I always love that name. Some of the best have definitely been hurt early on. Muhammad Ali got dropped by, what was it, Henry Cooper. Oscar De La Hoya got dropped by John Molina at 130. Jose Cotto, Miguel Cotto's older, big little brother, because he was smaller than Miguel, but older. His big little brother almost dropped Canelo into the ropes. David Benavidez got dropped by Ronald Gavril. So, no big deal if you get dropped early. And I actually kind of feel like that would do Jared Anderson some good. Let Johnny Rice put him on his butt with a right hand and make him go, oh shit. I guess I'm not the only big, strong, tough guy. I gotta not give shots for free. Because right now, the way he's coming in his last couple fights, he don't care about what's coming back, and he's just looking to knock you out. And so I actually think that could actually do him some good. The other people would take it and run with it and say, "Oh, look, he got dropped." He's Tyson Fury early in his career got dropped by a cruiserweight in Steve Cunningham. You know, it's kind of a rite of passage for most fighters. Richard Berry, man, thank you, my brother. Easy Work Boxing. Who are you picking, Ryan or Tank? I'm picking Tank. I'm picking Tank. I'm picking Tank because more complete fighter, like he keeps talking about, and watching him shadow box Thursday kind of reminded me of Andre Ward going into the Kovalev rematch, where everything was moving constantly. He wouldn't just, move his feet and then stop, throw the uppercut, right, boom, and then move his upper body, and then stop, and then move the feet around the ring, throw a couple jabs while moving, and then pause, stop there, throw, and then move the head, and then, no. Like Ward's shadow boxing heading into that Kovalev rematch, upper body, punches, and feet, constant for the shadow boxing. Constantly pivoting, pulling, moving the feet, not just moving the upper body and throwing punches, but moving the feet and the hands and the upper body, different angles, punching off the different angles, closing distance, being rangy. And that reminded me of Ward heading in Hayward, California for that Kovalev rematch. And so I just saw, like Davis keeps talking about, a more complete fighter. And I think Ryan, I'm going to see Ryan Garcia Tuesday in Beverly Hills. He's having a media workout. And I'm expecting him to blast us away and to wow us, because it is damn impressive up close in person with his power and his speed. And he's this tall kid, Ryan Garcia. So he's going to blow us away Tuesday at his media workout. We'll be live here on FightHype with the power and speed. But the arsenal is going to be so much more basic than Davis. He's not going to be feinting. He's not going to be getting his head off the line and throwing shot. He's not going to be throwing from as many different angles, pivoting and pulling and doing all this stuff. It's going to be a lot more basic. And all of it's going to come out extremely fast, explosive, and with power. So it'll be impressive. But Davis has that too. He's fast and explosive and has extreme power. But he has feints. But he has head movement. But he knows how to dip his head to the right, come over the top with the left hand with his chin off the line, while Ryan's chin is up in the air and still on the line. Little things like that. He knows how to feint, he knows when to step in. He doesn't panic. He gives away rounds so that he can figure you out. Just things like, I give the edge to Davis. But all that said, when you're tall, and although some of your height or your size advantage has been compromised by that rehydration clause, but when you're as tall as Ryan and punch as hard as him and as fast as him, anything can happen, But I just feel like Tank is clearly the favorite in that fight right now. So, let me see. Sean, is there a specific Instagram account I can go to and see those pros train like you do? I would just recommend you follow all these guys on Instagram, follow their stories, and you can kind of sometimes they'll show in the story them training in the gym, and you could kind of figure out what gym that is if you just research a little bit. Or not a little bit, you'll have to research, but you could figure it out, Hickson. Tiger says, hey Sean, what can you tell us about this guy Yoshino that Shakur is fighting? Is he a better Nakatani? Is he any good? He's very solid, Tiger. He's very solid, very fundamentally sound, high guard, strong, not a knockout puncher, not a heavy puncher, but, you know, strong guys, 12 knockouts and 16 wins. He's not like Nakatani, because Masahiro Nakatani was a tall guy. This guy ain't tall like that. And he just knocked out Nakatani, but Nakatani was coming off the Lomachenko knockout. I think Lomachenko took the prime out of Nakatani, so I'm not necessarily convinced that this guy, Yoshino, is better than Nakatani around the time Nakatani knocked out Felix Verdejo, because I think Loma took something out of him. So it's two different styles. To answer your question, he's not a better Nakatani. He's a different, shorter guy, a come-forward guy, straight up and down, but fundamentally sound. Not a great jab, but just a fundamentally sound guy, strong, solid pop, solid lightweight, but nothing, just a guy that's not going to beat any type of talent like a Haney or a Davis or a Stevenson or you know, none of those guys. So I expect Shakur to pick him apart. You know, be a surgeon. Be surgical with this shit, Jake. Like Denzel said in Training Day. Be surgical with this shit, Jake. So, Javier G, good to see you, my man. Javier G, making his way into the chat. Loma punished him. Absolutely, 3 pumps. Exactly. Let It Flock says, who is my current number 1 pound for pound? I don't give it that much thought. Because nobody, I think I talked about this on the last live. It's not, and Keyshawn Davis is in the ring, and we're about to start calling the action now. But no one has separated, like Mayweather when he was number 1 pound for pound, Roy Jones when he was number 1 pound for pound, Pacquiao when Pacquiao and Floyd together. These were guys that were head and shoulders above the field. And I don't think I think since Canelo lost to Bivol, I think Canelo from the second Golovkin fight, 2018 September, until November of 2021, he stamped himself as the best fighter in the world pound for pound. And since getting beat by Bivol, I kind of feel like you're putting someone there by default. You could put Usyk there, you could put Crawford there, Inoue, but maybe a few other guys, but I kind of feel like it's vacant since Canelo got knocked off. I mean, inevitably you got to give it to someone, but that's what it feels like to me. You're just kind of picking out of a couple of names and picking which one you think should be number 1. No one's made it clear cut like Canelo did for those 3 years, like Floyd Mayweather did for a number of years, like Roy Jones did in the 1990s. So, you know, that's kind of how I look at pound for pound right now. No one is head and shoulders above the rest, number 1. So yes, main fight's about to start. My man Keyshawn Davis. What you call it? Good to see you, my man. Who 135 up and coming? Got a lot of prospect. Ooh, tough to say, but we got the 2022 prospect of the year set to go now. Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis, who I've been liking a lot. I like how his style is coming along because, yes, he's an athletic Olympian, but I think he's best served on the front foot. Being slick, being smart, using all of his tools and his speed, but being more of an aggressive. I don't think Keyshawn's best served fighting like Stevenson or Haney. I think he's best served being a little bit more of an aggressive guy, style-wise, and he's began to start growing into that. So here we go. Here we go, round 1. Anthony Yigit. Most notable fight to Rolly, coming out in the southpaw stance, and here comes Keyshawn Davis, black and red sequin trunks, Norfolk, Virginia, written across the trunks, and here we go. And Yigit actually trying to start on the front foot. And both guys just measuring with their lead hand. Nothing really thrown just yet here in the first 20 seconds. Center of the ring for both guys. Davis, a little bit of a menacing look, licking his lips a little bit. Eyes fixated on Yigit. Yigit is the shorter guy despite having fought at 140 before. Looks like the smaller guy in there. Both guys starting early with some feints. And one moment here, let me get my... There we go. Davis stepping over to his right, stepping over to his left, showing some footwork early, trying to set up some angles. Double jab by Keyshawn Davis, touching the lead glove of Anthony Yigit. And Davis right now trying to figure out some angles. A lot of times that double jab is to set up an angle off of it. Davis stepping over to his left, 2 jabs. 1 jab up top, 1 jab to the body, beginning to be sharp with it out there, not just paw with it. Now he paws it out to range fine. Yigit keeping his hands at home, pawing with his jab now. Davis keeping him with good foot positioning, keeping him lined up perfectly for his straight right hand. Now he lets that straight right hand go right to the pit of the stomach. And a left hook to the body and then a left hook up top. Accurate, deceptive shots by Keyshawn Davis right there. Yigit stepping in, but his work gets smothered and caught on the shoulder roll from Keyshawn. Now Yigit trying to get in a left hand there in the clinch, and Keyshawn smiles at it with a little bit of a menacing, sadistic look there. Yigit firing a straight left hand to the chest. Keyshawn catching it on the gloves. Keyshawn feinting, bending down a little bit, feinting, giving different looks and feints, and now he catches with the shoulder roll what Yigit's throwing. Very well with the shoulder roll, caught everything on the gloves, trying to check Yigit with a hook there with a half step back in the center of the ring. Now he steps back into range, does Keyshawn. Keyshawn stepping in, catches a looping, nice sneaky left hand there by Yigit, but Keyshawn keeping the hand on the phone book, catching it there. On the phone hook, excuse me. Davis shooting a straight right to the body and then catching the left hand by Yigit and trying to check him with the hook in there. Now Davis beats his chest and steps forward to Yigit. Straight right hand, left hook by Keyshawn Davis. That left hook getting around the guard of Yigit. Yigit blocking that straight right hand, and Davis is making Yigit look very uncomfortable in round one. Yigit already with some reddening around his nose. Davis with a lot of tricky feet and foot positioning here in round one. Sophisticated stuff from the 7-0 lightweight. Not landing a lot of power shots in round one, but setting him up nicely with foot positioning. Yigit trying to stop in the last 10 seconds there. Davis beats his chest, come on, and catches everything on the elbows and on the gloves. And he gives him a dogging to end round one, gives him a dogging look. Davis didn't land a whole lot of shots there, but he did touch him up. Nice straight right hand to the solar plexus halfway through. Doubled up the left hook after it. Touched him with the jab. And was perfect defensively. Caught everything when he did the shoulder roll on the inside. So 10-9 Keyshawn Davis. In a fight he's expected to win handily. The whole question with this fight is, can Keyshawn look as good or better than Rolly did in knocking out Yigit in 6 rounds? So that's the thing. So yes, motherfucker, exactly. Please hit the like if you're enjoying the commentary. Sean, do I think Big Baby gets to the elite or beats AJ? Well, AJ would be quite a step up for him right now, but he might be, with the way Joshua's in rebuild mode and not firing on all cylinders, he might be able to beat AJ right now. But fire in my bones, feet work, as Shaq would say. Yep. All right, here we go. Getting ready for round number 2. Yigit trying with a double jab to the body and a straight left hand up top, but Davis making him fall short with all his punches and then resetting positioning and in the center of the ring. Davis, little half steps to his right, shoots the jab. Yigit catching it, shoots his jab right back at Davis, center ring. Both five. Now Davis jabbing to the body in the center of the ring. And then jabs up top, but Yigit catches it on the gloves. You get the feeling from Davis that at any moment he can start to turn up. Oh, now straight right hand by Keyshawn Davis. Yigit trying to paw with the jab, and Davis pulled back his range a little bit and then shot that straight right hand there through the center and tagged Anthony Yigit. And you just get the sense from Davis's superior positioning that pretty soon the punches are going to start flying out once he really starts getting into a rhythm here. Nice check left hook by Keyshawn Davis. Anthony Yigit trying to step in with a straight left hand, and he got it caught on the right glove of Davis, and Davis immediately timing him with the check left hook at the same time as catching that straight left hand. Now Davis, Yigit trying to come forward a little bit. Davis taking little half steps to his right and half steps back. Moving off at an angle. Now he steps over to his left, gets that left glove up to block the right hook of Yigit as he slides off the ropes. Yigit increasing the pressure a little bit here. Davis maybe trying to walk him into a trap like a check left hook. Yigit, 1-2 in the center of the ring. Falls short again, catching the chest or catching the gloves out of the shoulder roll of Keyshawn Davis. Yigit, just off with a left uppercut by Keyshawn, trying to walk Yigit into it. Right now, it's almost like Keyshawn wants Yigit to feel comfortable, wants him to throw off punches to give him countering opportunities off the back foot. Because he is letting Yigit put some pressure on him, but Yigit is inaccurate, missing his jab, missing his straight left hand, missing his right hook, sometimes making Keyshawn Davis slide off the ropes. Davis not active this round, though. Makes him miss a straight left hand, then a sweeping left hand, dips off the ropes and turns him, gets back into the center of the ring by Keyshawn Davis. Davis making him flail and miss with a straight left hand and then shoves him down to the canvas. Benji Estevez giving a little warning. breaks him up, and now they resume action. Less than a minute left in the second, and Davis not active. Great positioning, but now you want to start to see him firing. Davis short with a left hook. Now beautiful right uppercut. Stepped in with a beautiful right uppercut at long range, a range you usually can't step in and get that uppercut in off. But Davis with his feet and athleticism got it in there in the center of the ring. Yigit throwing a sweeping left hand. Davis pulls straight back from it, tries to counter with the 1-2, but Yigit gets underneath it. Nice jab to the body by Keyshawn Davis. Yigit trying to get back with 2 jabs to the body, but that left glove is low of Davis to catch it. Beautiful head movement by Keyshawn Davis in the center of the ring. Sweeping left hands, and he relies on his reflexes. Keeps that chin out there a little bit, but those reflexes are good, and he makes Yigit hit nothing but air 2 or 3 times. Last 5 seconds. Yigit struggling. Good defense by Keyshawn Davis right now. Couple of hard power shots. That right uppercut was beautiful. He wins round 2. Not a lot of activity from Davis, but usually this is what he does. He figures you out in the first 2. Does some of it on the front foot, feinting. But then he started to take a lot of steps back and try to walk Yigit into some shots. But I do expect Keyshawn to start picking up this pace pretty soon based on the angles and the offense that's available to him with the openings he's creating with his footwork and his positioning. So, Daryl Williams says he's not ready for Frank. Good, talented fighter, though. And ready might be the key word there, Daryl Williams, because Keyshawn, despite that amateur pedigree, is 24. Frank is a full-grown man at 28. I mean, full-grown. He got his full-grown man strength. Keyshawn, 24 years old, which isn't a baby, but still growing into it, still growing into his professional style. He has some great amateur traits to shake off in the transition. Frank Martin started late at 18, doesn't have any such traits to shake off. He's all professional style. But I do think Keyshawn probably projects as a higher ceiling than Frank Martin, but maybe Frank Martin beats him if they were to fight tonight. But right now, Keyshawn Davis in round 3 against Anthony Yigit has been very hard to hit. Good shoulder roll in close. Yigit has not really hit him with a clean shot yet, and Davis hasn't been that active, but he has hit him with a couple of clean shots. And just looking at the foot positioning and everything, wait, Keyshawn Davis almost went down on a left hand there. He was off balance, but a left hand came over the top, landed on the glove, didn't land clean, and he did go down. A bias, a worse ref might have ruled that a knockdown, but good call by Benji Estevez. But you want to see Davis start to pick up the work rate. Yigit falling short with his punches, trying to jab his way in and throw some sweeping. Now Yigit takes a step back out of frustration and says, please, come here, engage. Yigit shooting a straight left to the body. Davis gets out of the way of it, tries to fire over the top of the straight right hand, but it doesn't land. Davis picking the gloves up a little bit, steps inside, right uppercut to the body, but Yigit comes back with 2 shots and gets him caught on the guard. But Yigit is the more active fighter right now. He's got, nice straight right hand down the pipe by Keyshawn Davis. Then a 1-2 by Keyshawn Davis right in the middle of the ring. Keyshawn dropping that lead left hand, setting up a look with it, picks it back up, parries the jab of Anthony Yigit with that lead hand. Now Yigit getting in a little bit of a sweeping left hand there. Grazed the chin of Davis there finally, but then a straight right hand down the pipe by Keyshawn Davis knocks that chin back for Anthony Yigit. Davis stepping in, left hook to the body, a little short, but then he sweeps the right hand up top, working levels with the 2-punch combination, and that sweeping right hand knocked Yigit off balance. Davis, nice sharp jab by Davis in between Yigit's jab there, out jabbing him. Now straight right hand, left hook, straight right hand in the center of the ring. Sharp, short, compact shots by Keyshawn Davis. Davis missing with a sweeping right hand, but Yigit a little off balance. Tries to come back with 3 hooks. Right hook, left hook, sweeping right hook again. But Davis catch. Right back on top of him in the center of the ring. Davis with some long arms, snapping out that long jab. Knocking up the head a little bit. Not even fully committing to it, but still knocking up the head. Now Davis is back along the ropes, a little over 30 seconds in the round, touching with the jab, sliding off to his right uppercut with his back on the ropes for Davis, and that backs Yigit up. Yigit a little buzzed off that right uppercut by Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn back in the center of the ring now, picks his hands up, tries to land a lead hook, shoots a straight right hand to the body. Yigit backing away now, has some respect for... beautiful left hook to the body by Keyshawn Davis, but they had a headbutt at the time, and Benji Estevez has to break it up. Keyshawn complaining about his right eye. He's grimacing in pain in the corner right now. Let's take a look at the replay. Yeah, Keyshawn dipping in with a left hook to the body, and right when he made that dip with the hook to the body, southpaw orthodox fighters, heads clashing. And so timeout in the business right here. Timeout in the business for the businessman. Davis still grimacing in pain from that headbutt. Now grimacing out of that left eye, trying to blink the pain out of it. 11 seconds pause here in the third round. Davis about to go up 30-27, 3 rounds to nothing. Not reacting well to that headbutt. No blood, no swelling. But just got his attention quite a bit. And now they resume the action with 10 seconds left in the round. Davis measuring, picking the hands up, snapping the jab out there. And Davis hasn't snapped that long jab out there too much. He's been accurate with it when he does let it go and hasn't even fully committed to it. And even throwing it at, 75% force, 80% force, it still has enough snap to lift Yigit's head up a little bit. But Davis not very uncomfortable by that headbutt in the corner, not reacting to it well. Sometimes you see fighters get that headbutt and they go, and then 10 seconds later they resume action, but it did not affect Davis well. But he's in control of the fight, so we're getting ready to head into round 4 now. Thank you, Daryl. Appreciate that, Daryl. Appreciate that you enjoyed that quick analysis on Frank and Keyshawn. Let's see. Did Fundora fight already? No. Fundora is not fighting probably for another hour. So, Fire in My Bones says Keyshawn is extremely goofy to have the nickname the businessman. It's generic. It's like a nickname that can work for almost anybody. So it works, but it's not marquee. It's not box office, as Stephen A. Smith would say. Tank Davis, that's box office. Mike Tyson gave David Benavidez some box office. Nah, forget that El Bandera Roja. That you can't put that on a marquee. You're the Mexican monster. That's box office. So here we are, round 4. Keyshawn Davis on the front foot. Nice sharp jab. Trying to shoot some straight right hands through the center against that southpaw. Yigit falling a little bit short. Davis and Yigit doing enough with his jab to at least make Keyshawn reset. Not landing it. It's getting caught on the glove constantly. It's falling short, but, he's still game in there, Anthony Yigit. Yigit falling short with that jab again, stepping over to his right, trying to create an angle for himself. But Davis has him looking uncomfortable. Davis, a lot of taunting from both guys. Jab by Davis. Yigit tries to come back with a 1-2, and Davis tries to throw a right hand off that exchange, straight right hand with Yigit near the ropes. Yigit is still fighting, but very uncomfortable. 1-2-3 by Keyshawn Davis. Jab, right hand, left hook, and then a left hook to the body by Keyshawn Davis. Now back comes Yigit with 3 or 4 punch combination, but it's all caught on the guard by Keyshawn Davis. Center of the ring. Oh, nice left hook to the body again by Keyshawn. Slipping the jab, the southpaw jab at Yigit, and with that right hand opening up, dipping that left hook to the body right below it. Nice shot there by Keyshawn in the center of the ring. Now Yigit. Good shots by Yigit. Yigit stepped in, found an angle, got a right hook to the body, shot the sweeping left hand up top, and then got Keyshawn Davis with a right hook. That was the best 3-punch sequence for Yigit here in the 4th. Now Yigit sweeps a left hand over the top and gets a little right hook in again on the inside. Oh, nice uppercut by Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn timing that jab at Yigit with some good counters. Now a 1-2 by Keyshawn, backs Yigit up, and then a jab to the body by Keyshawn. That jab was a little short on the 1-2, but the straight right hand got in, and then he followed it up with a stab to the body. Jab up top for Keyshawn. Yigit moving off to his left, shoots a 1-2, still keeping Keyshawn honest and respectful. Keyshawn cornering him now. Trying to set something in off the jab. Nice combination up top by Keyshawn. Sets up a left hook to the body, using those shots up top to kind of decoy a left hook to the body. Nice punch selection by Davis there. Yigit still hanging tough. Getting backed up this round. Backed into the corner, into the ropes more. But he has landed some shots this round. Oh, straight right hand, a left uppercut. Lift up Yigit's head on the inside. That left uppercut got to him. Davis stepping inside, trying to punch in the pocket well. He's good in the pocket and likes to exchange and find openings in the pocket. Nice left hook again to the body by Keyshawn Davis, setting it up with the work up top and then really dig into the body. Davis, be wise to stay to that body. Straight right hand, sets up a left hook to the body again by Keyshawn Davis. Beautiful left hook to the body down the stretch for Keyshawn Davis. And he did it in different ways. Yigit with that southpaw jab would open up with the jab, and he'd slide underneath, get to that rib cage. Right there in the last 10 seconds, one thing Davis did to set up that left hook to the body, threw a straight right hand down the center with Yigit near the ropes, and Yigit moved his head off to the right to get away from that right hand, moved his body a little bit to the right, and his head off the line to the right, got out of the way of that straight right hand. But then that left hook to the body was waiting for him, and he almost moved into it, trying to get out of the way of the straight right hand. And that's why punch placement and putting punches together is so important, and why throwing one punch at a time doesn't get it done sometimes. Because if he would have just thrown that straight right hand, it had just been a miss, but he followed it up with the left hook to the body, and that was his best punch in round 4. James Blackwell said, "This is the best channel for boxing." I appreciate that. Appreciate that, my man. Let me see here. Now they're showing Shakur Stevenson in the back room. Doesn't got his hand wraps on, nothing like that. Still in his gear. Got his ping pong table set up back there because Jay Prince and all them guys love ping pong. All right, round 5 of Anthony Yigit and Keyshawn Davis. Both guys, Yigit still stepping forward, still letting his hands go, but wildly inaccurate. The defense of Davis very sharp. He did get touched up a little bit more in round 4, but here early in round 5, Yigit inaccurate, still letting his hands go, trying to step over, trying to give some angles, southpaw angles. Now straight left hand touches and grazes Keyshawn a little bit because Yigit is still trying to give angles. Oh, nice exchange on the inside. Both guys opening up, and Yigit getting a nice sweeping left hand to the body, but got caught with a left hook up top as the two exchanged punches there. Referee breaks them apart. 2 minutes left in this 5th round. Yigit getting countered with the left hook, trying to step in with his jab, and Davis just a half step back, walking him into a sharp left hook. Now Davis on the front foot, left hook, straight right hand, hits the gloves of Yigit. Yigit walking over to his left, gets cornered near the ropes, eats a couple of left hooks by Keyshawn Davis. Davis hooking twice off the jab. Yigit backing up a little bit here in the center of the ring. Tries to come back forward with a sweeping left hand, and Keyshawn catching it on the elbows, and Yigit ties up after throwing that left to the body. Yigit's face a little reddened up. Yigit sweeping overhand left, catches it right on the guard for Keyshawn, and catches the right hook after it. Yigit probably throwing more punches according to CompuBox, but definitely not landing more. Oh, nice straight right hand by Keyshawn. Let Yigit kind of open up with some wide punches. Keyshawn kind of catch, just a little half step back, and then shot that straight right hand. Keyshawn, nice, letting his punches go in combination up top. Yigit still catching around. And why do I feel, all of a sudden, chat, just to be full, maybe TMI, but all of a sudden I got this weird deja vu, like I've seen this fight before. I've never said this on a stream before. If my deja vu's correct, Keyshawn's about to knock him out with a left hook. I doubt that happens, but I don't know why all of a sudden it's weird. I got deja vu in the 6th round, but here we are in the 5th, and Keyshawn in control of the fight, but not. Oh, nice left hook by Keyshawn, set up off a 1-2 that made Yigit put the earmuffs on, but that left hook got around the high guard. Now Yigit's on the ropes, a left hook to the body gets in, and Yigit is kind of fighting. The way he's throwing his punches is like enough to survive. Right uppercut, 2 right uppercuts by Keyshawn off the left hook to the body. Yigit, his legs are beginning to go. He's staying more planted now, and he's eating more power shots. Right uppercut by Keyshawn off the combination punching up top. Another right uppercut by Keyshawn Davis off combination punching. Yigit staying inside after moving around so much. Those legs beginning to slow down, and Yigit would cover up with the high guard, and Keyshawn combinations, finish up with the right uppercut to really, those punches, you're trying to land those punches, but they're almost decoys too to set up a certain shot. Sometimes the left hook to the body, sometimes right there it was the right uppercut, and that's what Keyshawn did there well. So, fire in my bones. It is a hell of a phenomenon. Samantha, my wife Samantha in the chat. Love you, sweetie. Hey everyone in the chat, say happy anniversary, Samantha, in caps. It's me and Samantha's 1-year anniversary. We got married April 8th last year. We've been together since high school for 15 years, but today is the 1st year anniversary, so I'd appreciate it, chat, if everyone in caps could say happy anniversary, Samantha. Right now, we're just waiting for round 6 to begin for Keyshawn Davis. My deja vu started to look kind of on schedule because Yigit's legs began to leave him at the end of round 5, and Keyshawn began to hurt him with some combinations, finishing off with the right uppercut. So here we go in round 6. Let's see if deja vu strikes. Yigit waving his hands like, come on, let's go toe-to-toe. And Keyshawn is doing a dance. Keyshawn is doing a weird dance. And here we are 20 seconds into the 6th. Keyshawn on the front foot. Yigit backing away, shooting the jab, just trying to starting to throw get-off-me punches is Yigit. Double left hook by Keyshawn Davis. First one blocked, but the second one getting into the body. That's why you double it up to the head and to the body sometimes. Keyshawn Davis has landed 69 out of 135 power shots, a 51% connect percentage to just a 20% connect percentage to Anthony Yigit, so, more than doubling the connect percentage of Anthony Yigit. Nice jab lands, and then a straight right hand lands for Keyshawn Davis, and it looks like he is physically breaking down Yigit halfway through this fight now. Nice left hook lands by Davis. Yigit trying to bend down, throw a straight left hand, but he got countered by a left hook at the same time. Now a right uppercut by Davis, straight right hand by Keyshawn Davis in the center of the ring. Yigit beginning to get hit and lit up more often by the accuracy and the power shots of Keyshawn Davis, and he can't hit Keyshawn. He can't hit him. Not with anything meaningful. Keyshawn too quick on the catches and the catch and shooting, and then when he's not catching and shooting, he's getting his chin out of the way with the reflexes. Sharp, accurate, short power shots and combinations by Keyshawn Davis now in the 6th round, the center of the ring. And that left hook to the body's a problem. And he's finishing up with a shot, and he's cleaning up with a shot nicely. Whether it's cleaning up with the left hook in combination or cleaning up with the uppercut, he's cleaning up his combinations and punctuating them. Now Yigit gets in, steps in, still tough, gets a left hand to the body and a right hand to the body and grabs Keyshawn right after that. Doesn't want the receipt. Minute left in the round. It's been a pretty big round for Keyshawn Davis. Yigit stepping in behind the right hook, gets it blocked. Davis trying to punch in between his punches, letting him shoot off on the inside, and wants to punch in between there and land something he doesn't see coming. That's how you get the knockout. Yigit crowding Davis on the ropes, but Davis pulls straight back from that straight left hand. Beautiful left uppercut by Davis. Stepped right back in, got his back off the ropes and landed that left uppercut. Another left uppercut by Keyshawn Davis. Right uppercut lands. Yigit's legs beginning to wobble a little bit. Straight right hand up top and then a straight right hand to the body. Shit is surgical, Jake. He's surgical with this shit, Jake. This shit is accurate. These are technical knifing shots. Pinpoint by Keyshawn Davis in round 6. The offense has come alive in rounds 5 and 6. It was a slow start, but Davis's offense has come alive now halfway through this fight, and it's starting to be fun to watch. Oh, 2 left uppercuts inside by Keyshawn Davis, and then a jab, and then a left hook inside, and Yigit makes it out of the 6th, but was lit up in rounds 5 and 6 with a lot more power shots. 8 more power shots in rounds 5 and 6 than he ate in the rest of the fight total. Davis beginning to make it look fun in there now. So here we go. Thank you guys for wishing everyone happy anniversary to Samantha. You guys are awesome. Oh, wow, we got a lot of people to do that. Hope you enjoyed that, love. Marvelous Irv said Davis very flat-footed. Marvelous, I think it's because he's developing his front foot skills. He could get up on his toes and box. I think you'll see Keyshawn do that if he ever fights an Esau Cruz. If he ever fights someone like Esau Cruz or Rolly Romero, you'll see more boxing. But I think the style he's developing is smart for him. Marvelous, because inevitably he'll have to fight a guy like Haney. And I don't think he's gonna outbox a Haney. I think that's the style he's developing is the kind of style he'll need against the Devin Haney, or if he ever fights his friend Shakur Stevenson. He'll have to be the one on the front foot putting combinations together. He can't outbox them up on the toes fighting like that. So I like him developing this front foot style with his length and his skills and his defense. Keep all of that, but do it going forward. Until you run into the guys that are looking to press you all night, and then you could be back up on the toes and do some of the things you did in the amateurs. So, I guess Keyshawn has had 39 rounds in a row without being outlanded by an opponent. Is brought up, which isn't super impressive. I mean, that's what he's supposed to be doing against these guys this early on in his career. So, here we are in the 7th, and Keyshawn's defense and positioning is really on point. It doesn't matter what range he's at. He has an answer defensively for what's coming back, and it's not the same answer. He has a couple of different answers defensively. He has the catch and shoot. He has the reflexes where he drops one of the hands and just relies on the head movement to make him get out of the way. So a good arsenal by Keyshawn that continues to develop here. And Yigit is just looking physically broken down. He's bleeding from the nose, some reddening around the face. He's eating power. Oh, nice right hook by Yigit, and Keyshawn bangs his chest. Yigit, still a veteran with some savvy, walked Keyshawn into a right hook, but it had absolutely no effect on Keyshawn. But Keyshawn, maybe getting a little, thinking his opponent had nothing left, and he got caught a shot there. Had no real effect. But Yigit, the blood is starting to come. Yigit doing a lot of beating his chest and saying, come on. And Keyshawn is telling the crowd, let's raise the roof here. But all right, fight, fellas. Let's talk and let him fly. Yigit getting countered, opening up. Keyshawn catching on the high guard and countering with a straight right hand. Now Keyshawn shoving Yigit to the ground as Yigit tried to flail his way onto the inside. And they keep posturing to the crowd. Yigit, that nose is busting up. Yigit talking a lot of trash to Keyshawn Davis. And I take that as he's trying to fight his way through this, trying to will his way through this. He's bleeding from the nose. He's getting broken down to the body and to the head. But maybe talking your way through it, jawing your way through it can carry you through to the finish line. He doesn't want this kid to stop him. I think Yigit just wants to see the finish line. Benji Estevez is telling both of these guys to knock it off and start fighting and stop talking so much. Davis not as impressive in round 7 as he was in 5 and 6. Still landed some hard shots this round, though. Nice left hook to the body by Davis, and then a right uppercut inside, and he punctuates with a straight right hand up top, but Yigit takes it well and asks for some more, and then lets his hands go. Nice combination punching by Yigit. Nice combination, not landing a lot of it getting caught, but still letting his hands go, still being tough. Left hook blocked by Yigit for Keyshawn Davis, but Davis in control of this fight. Oh, nice right hand at the bell for Keyshawn, punching in between Yigit's punches, and Yigit did as much talking and taunting as he did fighting that round, and it looks like he's trying to do that to hype himself up to carry him through these last 3 rounds. Keyshawn Davis up 7 rounds to nothing. So Fire in My Bones says, I like the composure Davis is showing. It's solid, Fire in My Bones, but I didn't like the composure from the headbutt, and I don't love the composure with the constant taunting back and forth of Yigit. You let him taunt, you stay on top of him behind that jab, killing the body and get him out of there. The guy's trying to kind of con his way through the fight. All that talking when the blood's coming from all the nose, he's trying to dupe you into thinking he's still got more fight left in him than he really does. His tank's on low. You're breaking him down. He's being broken down. That's his bravado talking. Don't humor him by going bravado for bravado. Keep killing his body while he's talking and get him out of there. So, I hear what you're saying, Fire in My Bones, but the composure could still be a little bit better. Not that it's bad at all, by any means, but he's being too cocky and got caught. Right, Tiger, right. So here we are in round 8, and he needs to focus in here, because if he just sticks to his combinations like in round 5 and 6, he'll get the stoppage. But if he taunts back and forth and starts, just trying to load up, then this guy's going to probably see the finish line, Yigit. So here we are, 30 seconds in the 8th. Yigit still taunting, still got pep in his step, trying to bravado his way through this fight, still letting his hands go, still game. Davis stepping in behind a double jab, straight right hand to the body, left hook, but Yigit still alert defensively. Yigit missing all his punches, and Davis taunting him for his inaccuracy. But he's doing enough to keep staying alive. Yigit backing away. Davis changing the looks, bending down, trying to set up that bend down feint that you see from guys like Robeisy Ramirez. Dropping that lead. Nice 2 sharp jabs. Long jab by Keyshawn. And then he throws 3 hooks off that jab, and Yigit is getting pounded and just runs across the ring and continues to taunt. Right uppercut, and then banging, sweeping right hands by Davis. Left uppercut, right hand, left uppercut by Davis. 2 left hooks up top by Davis. Yigit is saying he's catching it, but some of them are getting through. Short left hook got in for Davis. Couple of little touching body shots by Yigit after eating all those punches, and he's talking some more to Davis, getting broken out of the clinch. Davis gets underneath that jab and throws a little hook to the body. That's been a beautiful move for him. Davis trying to find that outside angle to the outside lead foot of the southpaw. Right uppercut, left hook by Davis. What they call the 4-3. Right uppercut, left hook by Davis again, and then a sweeping right hand in close in the center of the ring. Oh, right uppercut in close to the body by Davis. Left hook up top. Yigit eating shots. Yigit barreling his way into Davis, and Davis just pushes him down to the ground as Yigit tries to clinch and get into his chest. Estevez is going to... Is he calling this a knockdown? Estevez is going to let Yigit get looked at. Yigit is complaining about his jaw and his mouthpiece is out. Yigit trying to say like something dirty happened. Estevez getting mad at the corner saying, hurry the hell up and get that mouthpiece, that bloody mouthpiece back in there. Round 8 resumes with 50 seconds left. Yigit still coming forward, shooting that 1-2, falling short. Completely inaccurate, save for that one right hook or a couple of glazing shots here and there. Grazing shots, excuse me. Oh, nice straight right hand by Keyshawn, catching the sweeping shots by Yigit and then knifing him down the center with a straight right hand. Good catch and shoot there by Davis. Davis back on top of Yigit. Double left hook. One to the body, one to the head, and then a sweeping right hand up top, and then a straight right hand up top, pelting Yigit from pillar to post there, but Yigit banging his chest saying, come on with some more. Yigit exhausted. Right uppercut to the body, left hook to the body. Yigit is hurt along the ropes. His face is busted up. Couple of shots up top by Keyshawn. 1-2 by Keyshawn. Good combinations up top. And that will do it for round 8. Yigit taking a beating and still talking. Nice right. Oh, right! It was a right uppercut to the body that drops Anthony Yigit to close round 8. Yigit trying to come over the top with a left hand, sweeping the left hand, and Davis got underneath. Beautiful left hook, right uppercut to the body that dropped Anthony Yigit. Got underneath the sweeping left and then knifed that right uppercut to the body, and down went Anthony Yigit. Davis is a good, accurate body puncher. Davis still has a lot of upside, still has things that if he perfects in his arsenal, he could be an elite fighter. He's got such a long jab that he hasn't really used that much in this fight, but it's a snappy, long jab. He's a very accurate, very good body puncher, and he kind of has every punch in the book. He has a straight right hand, he has a left hook to the body and to the head, and he has uppercuts with both hands. This is a fighter, Keyshawn, and I'm not saying anything that's, a hot take here, but this is a guy, if he puts it all together, can definitely become the lightweight champion of the world. And I don't mean IBF, I mean the lightweight champion of the world. So we'll see. He does have to work on the focus, and because he's a guy that doesn't always have his foot on the pedal. And part of that is being a patient fighter early on and figuring guys out. I understand that. But here we go, round 9, and here comes Keyshawn Davis again, probably nearing a stoppage. Yigit's face swelling up, reddened, blood all over his trunks, and he's eating a lot of body shots. Davis stepping in. Will he get the kill here? Right hook, right uppercut to the body, left hook up top, sweeping right hand up top. Benji Estevez has seen enough, and it's a 9th round stoppage for Keyshawn Davis. He didn't stop Anthony Yigit as early as Rolando Romero, but he got hit by Yigit less. He beat him up worse. He was in more control from start to finish. Yigit actually got some good left hands in on Rolly Romero, actually won a couple rounds. Didn't win a round tonight, didn't really get much of anything, and caught Keyshawn with a right hook in the 7th. Grazed him with a couple of left hands, here and there in the fight, but for the most part was completely shut down and disarmed offensively. And then rounds 4, 5, and 6 began to just become target practice for the combinations, the compact, sharp accuracy of Keyshawn Davis, who, I'll say it again now that we get that stoppage, is a guy that if he perfects his arsenal, that long jab, those accurate body shots, the combinations that include every punch in the book, a straight right hand, a left hook to the body and to the head, uppercuts with both hands, good defense, good reflexes, can catch and shoot, if he puts it all together, and it's a lot to put together, and if he has a chin, and if he, then this could be one of the top 10 pound-for-pound fighters in boxing, which shouldn't be surprising given his pedigree. So I like what I see. He's still a work in progress. He's still got to perfect his tools and his arsenal, but if he ever does, and if he can take a punch as well, if he can take it and not just dish it out, then Keyshawn Davis is going to be a force in boxing for years to come. So, and Brother Murd saying Devin and Stevenson, this kid could be right there with Devin and Stevenson if he continues to perfect his arsenal, to reach his ceiling and his potential. He'll be right there with Davis, Stevenson, and Haney. Yep. Final punch stats. 428 shots thrown for Davis, 183 landed. That's a 13% connect percentage for Anthony Yigit tonight, guys. 13% for Anthony Yigit. 462 punches. And what's impressive about that by Keyshawn Davis is he made him land almost 1/10 of his punches while more than half of the fight staying in front of him. A lot of the times that was out of the shoulder roll in the pocket. It wasn't backing off, moving off to the right. I mean, he did that at times, but not really. A lot of it was just half steps back, half steps to the left, half steps to the right. But a lot of that defense came in the pocket, right in front of Yigit, shooting off his shots, actually welcoming and inviting Yigit to shoot off the shots because he trusts his defense and is catching his counters and punching in between Yigit's punches. So very good performance by Keyshawn Davis, an A-, a B+ type performance. And if he ever completes his potential, he could be as good as any lightweight, about as good as any lightweight out there. So there we go. William Palma not liking it. Sonia Dumas saying that Keyshawn Davis looked good against a bad fighter. Well, Sonia, that's what they all do at 8 and 9 and 0 for the most part, right? You got to look good. And when you say bad fighter, I know you mean relatively speaking. Yigit's 24 and 3 or 24 and 4 now, 24 and 3. So clearly he's a competent professional fighter. He's a guy that could box. But when you say bad fighter, Sonia, and I'm going to assume here, you mean relatively speaking for this level. You know, for the lightweight championship level, he's a bad fighter. And Keyshawn looked good against him. But that's the stage of his career he's at right now. Is you got to look good against, at this level, limited fighters. So what's Keyshawn saying here? What did Keyshawn just say? Did he just call out Devin Haney? Let me rewind that. Keyshawn just said something into the camera. Let me try and hear what that was, and I'll share it with you folks. Let's hear this. He said, "We want Martin next." Is that what he said? I gotta hear it. I gotta hear it for myself. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Ooh. Keyshawn calling out Frank Martin, saying, "Talk about the other side of the street. I want to fight you." He said, "If you want to fight, let me know, because I want to fight." So Keyshawn Davis calls out Frank Martin. That sounds good. I love that. Of course, we all love the idea that if the fighters want to make it can happen. Fuck the sides of the street and all that. We love all that. But in reality, how does this work? ESPN and Showtime ain't going to do a joint telecast for Frank Martin versus Keyshawn Davis. So that would mean one guy has to go to the other network. And Errol Spence and Al Heyman aren't going to let that happen. And Bob Arum and Jay Prince ain't going to let that happen. So it sounds good. I'd love to see the fight. I don't doubt that the two fighters would be willing to fight each other. But it's not going to happen. Not if anything I know about boxing is true. So, sounded good. Good soundbite. Good quote. But not going to happen in all likelihood. Unfortunate. Would be a great, fight. Undercooked. Not really marinated. But that's not going to happen. Because Jay Prince and Bob Arum are not going to let Keyshawn Davis fight on Showtime. And Al Heyman and Errol Spence are not going to let Frank Martin fight on ESPN. And ESPN and Showtime do not have a Mayweather-Pacquiao, Wilder-Fury type fight on their hands that they are going to make a joint broadcast. How hilarious would that be? Showbox, in association with ESPN Plus, present Davis Martin. 10 rounds in the lightweight division. That's not going to happen. By the way, if that fight were to happen, I think maybe Martin would win right now because he's more settled into his grown man strength and more experienced as a pro. Although Davis, with his amateur Olympian experience, is tremendous. I would just say maybe Martin wins right now, maybe. But I think reaching their ceiling, how they project, I think Davis has a higher ceiling, when it's all said and done. So we'll see. Marvelous Irv and Molly Mall laughing. Yeah, you guys know what it is. Key better not fight anybody but who Top Rank puts in front of him, says Cal Cool It. Well, for now, you just fight who Brad Goodman and Bruce Trampler put in front of you because you're really still prospect transitioning to contender. They got to put you in front of certain guys, certain styles that you're supposed to beat, but challenge you increasingly as you go up the ladder. So they make you a little better. They challenge you a little bit more until you get to finishing school. So that's the stage he's at right now. But when he graduates and when he's ready, he could be a problem, man. He might become the lightweight champion of the world. And so we'll see. I think his ceiling is very high. Andy Cruz picks apart Keyshawn Davis, says AI. Well, he certainly did 4 times in the amateurs, but let me tell you something. The pros are a different game than the amateurs, and Cruz fights in an extremely amateur style. He's a special fighter with his speed and his reflexes and his coordination is Andy Cruz, but a great talent. But if he didn't make some adjustment, look at Robeisy Ramirez, his fellow Cuban countryman. He won 2 gold medals and then lost his first professional fight because the pros are different. And their amateur habits, they die hard. They're hard to die because they are so ingrained in them and they stay in the amateurs at such an advanced age than most of the Americans like Shakur or Keyshawn. Keyshawn stayed in there pretty old for today's American boxing, stayed until he's 22 years old. But I think a 12-round fight where that hit and run isn't quite as applicable over the course of a 12-round fight where you sit down on your punches more. Keyshawn has 12 rounds to work with. He doesn't have to push for 3 rounds and walk into little shots by Andy Cruz so Andy could touch him and then raise his glove to the judges and then run away for 10 seconds, reset, and do it again. I think Davis right now, if they were to fight in the pros, Davis could get him in a 10-round fight. So it's 2 different things. But the sad part is we may never see Andy Cruz in the pros because of the Cuban government and the oppression they face there. So Andy Cruz beat Robeisy in the amateurs too. Not surprised to hear that. But do I think the knee in the face while he was down will make it to the replay squared circle boxing? No. But, Yigit was getting rough in there, trying to barrel his way in, trying to fall and bear his way into the clinch, and Davis got rough with him. And I'm a fan of guys like Bernard Hopkins and Andre Ward and Tyson Fury, who could get rough in the clinch. And if you can get away with it, you can get away with it. It's on the referee. There's a certain savvy to that. Now, no real savvy, I guess, I didn't see the knee, but if what you're saying is true, knee in the face, but part of it's on Yigit trying to barrel his way in into the clinch, and Davis not just allowing him to clinch. It kind of sends him to the ground, and he hits his knee on the way there. It is what it is. So now next fight, same thing. Anderson takes over. Don't know who he's fighting. Well, but Sonya, they're building him right now. He's 22. They're at the build-up stage. So you don't throw Anderson in there with Joshua yet or Wilder or those guys. You season them. You get them ready. I think Anderson should fight Johnny Rice soon because I think Johnny Rice has the kind of craft to zap him with a right hand, maybe hurt him, maybe drop him, and start to make Anderson think about the defensive side a little bit because he hasn't been thinking about that lately, and it's been fun to watch. And I expect that from him tonight. But I do think, like De La Hoya getting dropped early in his career by John Molina, Ali by Henry Cooper, David Benavidez by Gerville. I think an early knockdown might do him some good right now at this stage because he's beginning to not think about the defensive side of the sport right now because he's just 13-0, 13 knockouts, getting knockouts right now. So let me hear what Tio and Josh are jawing back and forth. Josh Taylor and Teofimo Lopez going back and forth right now. Yeah, they're just going back and forth. This is a fight that both guys don't really have a lot of momentum heading in, but we both know how good they are. So it's still a fight we're all looking forward to. I give a slight edge to Teofimo Lopez, despite his mental makeup being shaky lately, despite him not being the natural 140-pounder, despite Josh Taylor being the taller, longer guy who's still the lineal champion of this division. I favor Lopez because Taylor, despite his height, tends to not use it, tends to want to bang with guys like Baranchek, like Prograis. The most he ever did use it was Jose Ramirez. But if Taylor fights the way he usually fights, and that was a problem against Catterall, even though he was taller than Catterall was beating him with the straight left hand on the inside because even though he's tall, he's not rangy. He likes to fight. Tough Scotsman. If he tries to be that tough Scotsman and bring the fight to Lopez and allow Lopez to play counterpuncher, I think that plays into Lopez's strengths and he can win that fight. So, but let's hear what else they're saying. Do you both have something to prove? Mark Kriegel asked Tio, and Tio says, always, always. Yeah, they're fighting in the garden. Oh, fights made and in the garden. Beautiful. So finally get to take my little boy to my hometown of New York City. Shout out to the Yankees. And take the wife down to New York City. Your boy will be live ringside June 10th from the garden for Lopez and Taylor with the round by round. So that's dope. I'm looking forward to that. Back to the scene of the crime for Lopez, too. I think they're fighting in the big room, not the theater. But that is the arena he lost the lightweight championship to George Kambosos. And, Sandor Martin. A lot of people felt Sandor Martin deserved that fight. These guys are going to make for a fun build-up. Taylor and Lopez, they're going to let their verbal hands go. And then June 10th, they'll let their hands go. And I think it's going to be a fun fight. Their styles make for a fun fight. Josh is a fiery Scotsman, a combination puncher. Maybe he'll box a little bit more like he did against Jose Ramirez. But Taylor, explosive, flashy counterpuncher. And just as I say flashy, Tio picks his shirt up to show off his six-pack on camera. But looking forward to that fight, man. Looking forward to getting back to the hometown of New York City to call that fight for you guys live. Boston says, I got Taylor. Tio is just so shaky. Alan R. says Taylor will outbox him. Fire in My Bones says, I'm with Sean. Taylor is not impressive to me, even against a mentally fractured Tio. Who do I think would win Rolly Romero versus Keyshawn? Asked Don Carlos. I got to go Keyshawn. Just being more technically sound. Rolly's dangerous against anybody because he really can punch. That's the first thing Tank Davis said when he got out of the ring with him. He said, he's strong. He's strong as hell. He could punch. And he's explosive. He's not just punches hard and slow. Not as fast as Haney, Davis, Stevenson, Garcia, but he's got some speed. He's not slow either. So he has a puncher's chance against Keyshawn. Keyshawn's never been in with someone that dangerous. But I just think Keyshawn being so much more technically sound, having so many more skills in his arsenal than Rolly, much better defense. I would pick Keyshawn to win that fight. So here comes Jared Anderson to the ring now. The best young American heavyweight in boxing. He's got the shades on. I don't know. They almost looks a little bit like the Detroit shades, but they're not quite that. I know they're not the Buffs. They're not the Tony Harrison, Royce the 5'9" shades. But some nice pimp shades from Jared Anderson. He came out in the pimp outfit one. Now he got the pimp shades on. And here's Jared Anderson, black and gold robe. Got the OVO Drake sign on his back. Maybe Chat can help me out with that. What's up with some of these Jay Prince guys, Shakur and Jared Anderson also being with OVO? Not a Drake fan, but if you guys know, you could put me on some game there. Jared Anderson in the ring. Got the fly pimp shades on. And Jared Anderson does not play with his food. He is, if he can get you out of there in 2 or 3 rounds, that's what he looks to do. And until someone really hits him with something to make him respect them, he has shown zero respect for the heavyweight division so far. So they're both fighters in the ring. The Dominicano sitting across the ring from Jared Anderson, 13-0, 13 knockouts. Highly touted. This is the best young American heavyweight in boxing. 23 years old now, and let's see if the knockout percentage stays at 100% against the República Dominicanas, George Arias. Those are buffs, Brandon Watson. They are. Goddamn, I need some buffs, man. I just don't know if I could pull them off. I don't know if I get the side eye. I don't know if I look corny, like I'm trying too hard, but the buffs got to be the dopest sunglasses in the world. George Arias, 18-0, 7 knockouts from San Francisco, Dominican Republic, not San Francisco, California. Shout out to the 49ers. 7-0 versus undefeated opponents with 2 knockouts. So a guy on paper, 18-0, but no power. No power. And I keep talking about how Jared Anderson has no respect for his opponents. I'm not so sure this the 7 knockouts and 18 victories screams respect my power by George Arias. Can't always go by the record. Maybe the bell rings and Arias has some pop that we and Jared aren't expecting, but this could be an early night. Jared already ranked by the WBO with Bob's orders, ranked number 9 at heavyweight by the WBO, and 77%, almost 80% of those knockouts coming before round 3. Timothy Bradley has him rated as the number 1 prospect in boxing right now. Jared Anderson, here we go. My son, Sammy, did Leo rock some buffs? Oh, so my wife said, Big Baby gonna have this other man, George Arias, sleeping like one. One being a baby. Good one. This sounds like a layup for Anderson, Alan R. Well, at least the guy's got an undefeated record. You know, maybe this guy has gotten here through his boxing skills. Maybe he could frustrate Anderson, make a miss. Right now here at center ring, I like the look of Anderson's body. A little bit of an improvement. He was a little soft. A little bit of that southern good eating was on his bones early in his career, and he's beginning to slim it and melt it off. And he looks a little bit more like a little bit more in shape heavyweight tonight, Jared Anderson. That bodes well for him. And we get ready for round number 1 here. All right. Round 1 set to start. Here we go. George Arias and Big Baby Jared Anderson. Anderson right away, loose, relaxed, not a care in the world. Takes a step back in the center of the ring already, as if to say, come on, Arias, come forward. Big Jared Anderson with both hands down at his side, standing into the center of the ring, inviting Arias there. Kind of unprofessional by Anderson. Anderson being unprofessional to start round 1. Now he lets that jab out. But right away, Anderson stood in the middle of the ring as if to say, come on, let's fight. And that's without even attempting to cut off the ring. Now he starts the fight with that long jab from the hip. Very loosey-goosey. No respect for his opponent. Not even worrying about what's coming back. 2 jabs from Anderson. Another jab from Anderson. Just walking forward. Walking forward with no regard for what Arias has. Jab to the body lands for Anderson. Arias fighting timid to start. Getting backed up on the ropes and eating a jab to the body and a jab up top. Anderson with the length. Nice jab to the body again by Jared Anderson. Another jab to the body by Jared Anderson. Arias already looking a little uncomfortable up on his bike, moving to his right and to his left, but getting pinned on the ropes by that jab to the body already. Arias moving around, eats a jab up top. Nice jab by Jared Anderson early on. Been accurate with it. Long, stiff jab, good speed on it, to the head and to the body. And Arias not even thinking about countering over the top of the jab, despite Anderson really loose with his hand placement. You know, now he steps in with a left hook, straight right hand, and Arias not even throwing any punches, just trying to survive early on. Kind of funny to watch. Arias to his right, to his left, gets pinned on the ropes, and Anderson lets his hands go a little bit there. Arias with just one little get-off-me punch. Nothing. Now Arias along the ropes, right uppercut, left hook for Anderson, making him move that upper body around, trying to set up a shot. Hard left hook to the body by Jared Anderson. Arias trying to come back with a counter, way off. Nice jab lands for Anderson to pin Arias along the ropes. Less than a minute left. Arias is back near the ropes, moving his head left to right, stepping off to his left. Now he jabs to Anderson's body. Jab up top by Anderson lands, though, with Arias near the ropes. Arias near the ropes again, moving off to his left. Double jab by Anderson. Another jab by Anderson. Freezing Arias at times with the jab on the ropes, but then after he eats it, he moves right back off to his left or to his right. Arias shoots a jab to the body. Jared parrying it down. Now Jared steps in, sets up a sweeping right hand to the body off the jab as he pinned Arias on the ropes there. Pins him on the ropes with a jab to the body again. And I think Jared is almost amused at the timidness of George Arias in round 1. 10 seconds left. He knows he's got a fighter. We never like to call fighters scared, but you're tempted to say Arias is a little afraid of Jared Anderson. And yeah, the way he's reacting to some of these punches and feints. 10-9 Jared Anderson. Arias trying to survive from the opening bell, not really letting anything go. Anderson accurate with that long jab stab to the body. Tried to set up a few power shots, but got a guy in front of him who absolutely doesn't want to engage. Props to Anderson for at least having that accurate jab to the body and to the head with a guy just constantly moving. 10-9 Jared Anderson. I'm honestly a little amused by George Arias early on. Yeah, Joe 2 times says he doesn't respect this guy at all. That's a theme with Jared Anderson right now in these fights. Alan R says anyone with better D and timing than Anderson beats him. I disagree. You're going to see Anderson sharpen up and be on his P's and Q's a lot more against better fighters. Right now against guys who are 20-1, 22-1, 18-0, you know, blowing up records against soft opposition. He just knows he's so much better than these guys. So I like it. I even like what I'm seeing from Anderson here. Don't love the lack of professionalism, not trying to cut the ring off from the jump. But I love the jab, love the parrying with the defense, love the fluidity. Nice jab by Anderson to start round 2. Here we are in the second. Arias moving off to his left, and Anderson coming in behind the jab. He's worked up a little bit of a sweat now. He's picked those hands up a little bit. Looks a little bit more focused for round 2, does Jared Anderson. Anderson coming in behind that long jab. Throws a straight right hand. Arias gets underneath him, but now a left hook to the body fight by Jared Anderson. That might be what he has to set up there, is the body against this guy. Now Arias letting go of a big left hook. Anderson with good reflexes, pulling his chin back to get away from it. That was the first big attempt by George Arias. Arias with a lot of head movement and then a left hook, trying to do his best Joe Frazier impersonation, bobbing his head around and then swinging big with the left hook. But Anderson with good reflexes, seeing it coming. Jared setting up a double jab and then a right hand, left hand to the body, and good reflexes by Anderson again to pull that chin out of range from that snapping left hook by Arias. 2 jabs for Anderson, another jab for Anderson, and that jab is already beginning to form a little bit of swelling under the right eye of Arias. Now a double jab for Arias, and he falls into the clinch, and that second jab got in for Arias off the double jab. So Arias finally lands a shot, but a sharp jab through the center for Anderson, and another jab through the center, and he catches a left hook on the gloves again by Arias. Arias trying to get in low, gets into the clinch. Little left to the body there by Arias, and now Arias with a little right hand to the body with his free hand. No effect at all. Nice jab to the body by Anderson out of the clinch. Arias near the ropes, eats a jab up top. That jab is very nice by Jared Anderson. Heavy, stiff, and long. Another reflexes by Anderson getting out of the way of that left hook. He's getting out of the way of the left hook with that chin up a little bit, but those reflexes let you get away with it for Jared Anderson. Ooh, lunging right hand by Arias, trying to come over the top of that jab with an overhand right, but again, Anderson's pulling straight back, getting away from it, pulling straight back from a left hook by Arias too. Against better fighters, maybe they could take advantage of that chin being up. Right uppercut sets up a left hook up top for Jared Anderson. That's the 4-3. Anderson pulling straight back from some of these left hooks. Nice left hook to the body after pulling back and then stepping back in range. Now Anderson switches southpaw. Touches the guard with the right hook. Shoots the jab out of this. Ooh, Arias trying to time him with a straight right hand once he switched southpaw and jabbed out of the southpaw. But Anderson with last second reflexes, making his guys miss at the last second. That's the reflexes that work for the heavyweight. Anderson still in the southpaw stance. They trade. Oh, straight right hand gets caught by Anderson. He lands a right hook. Arias touching Anderson a little bit with a straight right hand, but he eats a left uppercut out of the southpaw stance. Double right hook out of the southpaw stance for Anderson. Right hook up top, right hook to the body. Right there in that sequence. And that does it for round 2. Anderson up 20-18. Arias beginning to throw a little bit of off-rhythm bombs that you still got to respect and be wary of. And Anderson with the reflexes, sometimes pulling straight back with the chin out, but and keeping the hand up while leaving that chin out at least, and making a miss last second with the reflexes by Jared Anderson. And that's the kind of reflexes you're not going to see often in the heavyweight division. So 20-18 Anderson. AI says Bob Arum has all the prospects. AI said Torres over Anderson. I disagree big time. I would have Torres is tough. They don't come tougher than Torres, and he's in great physical shape. And he can punch, he can rumble, But the Anderson's taller, he's faster, he has better reflexes. I think he's a better puncher, even though Torres can punch too. I gotta disagree with you there, AI. I like Richard Torres. I think he's a very fan-friendly fighter, but Jared Anderson over Richard Torres. Here we go, round 3 now. And here comes Anderson back in the orthodox stance after finishing round 2 southpaw. Starts with the jab to the body and effortlessly takes some half steps back in the center of the ring and parries away the jab of Arias. Anderson trying to sweep that right hand. Arias seeing it coming. Arias along the ropes. Arias bouncing a little bit more. Tries to shoot his own jab in there twice, but falls short. The shorter man can't out jab Anderson. Arias trying to work his left hook downstairs, upstairs, but Anderson catch. Elbow, hand, to the body, to the head, catch. Anderson on the front foot, jab to the body. Arias near the ropes. Jab up top lands for Anderson. 2 jabs up top just to freeze him. 3rd jab, freezing Arias. Not landing, but freezing him in place. Arias returning jab back after eating a jab to the body. They trying to land his own jab, but Anderson is a little bit long, knows that distance, knows how to keep him on the end of his jab to where the shorter man's jab falls a little short. Arias near the ropes. Anderson using the jab to try to set up some body shots along the ropes. Arias, very defense first, and moving his head a lot. Oh, nice left hook by Arias, moving his head, trying to do a little bit of Tyson Frazier, and it looked like it just touched the chin of Anderson, but he almost nailed Anderson on the chin with that left hook. Left hook is still a little dangerous by Arias. Arias moving off to his right, gives off a feint. Anderson switching southpaw. Measuring, trying to punch in between Arias's double straight right hand there, trying to shoot that straight right hand against Anderson when he turns southpaw, and Anderson trying to get underneath it twice with the left hand of the body. Anderson understanding the angles, punching in between punches there. Nice straight right hand by Arias gets in as he eats the southpaw jab, but as he ate that jab, he at least stuck in the straight right hand with Anderson in that southpaw stance. A lot easier to get hit by the straight right hand when you switch southpaw. Anderson still in control of this round, though. Oh, nice left uppercut inside by Jared Anderson on the inside, fighting well with the shoulder roll in the pocket. Arias, left uppercut lands for Jared Anderson. Gets Arias along the ropes and lands a straight left hand, too, in combination. Left uppercut again by Jared Anderson. Set it up with a touch right hook. Another left uppercut set up by the touch right hook up top. And that's called the 3-4. The 3 being the hook, the 4 being the backhand uppercut. A lot of fighters love that, and Jared got in the left uppercut twice using that setup. 30 seconds left in the 3rd round. Jared staying on top, staying in the southpaw stance. Good head movement by Arias in this fight, and good legs, but they're slowing down to finish round 3. He's used a lot of energy. Arias nice right uppercut. Right hook sets up a left uppercut again, the 3-4. And that makes blood come from the nose of Arias. Arias beginning to boogie and try to taunt as he gets busted up with combinations. And his legs, his face and his bravado are trying to say he's not hurt. And he's trying to tell the crowd he's not hurt. But his legs tell the truth. His legs were shooken up to end round 3. And he's got a bad cut outside of his right eye. Doctor is taking a look at that right eye. Left eye already beginning to close. Blood coming from the nose. And some of those sharp left uppercuts immediately had an effect on George Arias. And he's getting looked at in the corner here by the doc and the ref. He's got some blood coming from his left eye. His eyes are closing up. And he's got a cut right outside his right. He's cut around both eyes. And it's not going to get any better for him. His coach might want to stop it right here and right now. Even though it's gotten that bad that quickly. It just took a couple of left uppercuts and a couple of sharp combinations to close round 3, and that's it. They're calling a halt to the fight, and it may not be exciting for the crowd. They want to see a real knockout, but it was only going to get worse for Arias, and that's it. Arias can't come out of he's already swelling around that right eye, cut around the right eye, cut around the left eye, and that does it for Big Baby Anderson. 14-0, 14 knockouts. Just too big, too good for George Arias, who was a mover, moved his head a lot, tried to sneak in some left hooks, but was just outgunned, outmanned from the opening bell. I liked what I saw from Anderson. I liked the shoulder roll he can do. He's comfortable with that. I liked his jab. I love how fluid he is. He's a good body puncher, which is rare in the heavyweight division. He still needs to be matched with a guy that hits him good because he needs to, that he needs that experience. Nobody is hitting him with anything that gets his attention. I really like the Johnny Rice fight for Jared Anderson right now because Johnny Rice is very patient. He'll take his time. He's one of the few heavyweights like Jared that's fluid. He's a fluid guy and not stiff. And I think Johnny would be losing rounds. Jared would be landing combinations. Jared would be breaking them down to the body. But Johnny has one good right hand in him for Big Baby Anderson. I just feel that. And that one good right hand, it may even drop Anderson. It'll definitely get his attention. A Johnny Rice right hand. And that right hand will let Jared know, oh, this is the heavyweight division, and there's bad motherfuckers in this weight class just like me who could knock me out if they hit me with the right shot. I too can be knocked out like anyone else. Sure, he knows that from knowing boxing, but he won't really know that in his soul until another heavyweight man takes him there and makes him feel that. I think Johnny Rice is the perfect kind of fight right now for Jared Anderson because Jared will win. Jared will most likely even break him down and maybe stop him. But Johnny Rice got one right hand in him that Jared Anderson needs to experience right now before he gets to the top level and rushes into a fight with someone like Joshua or someone like that. So for me, I would like to see Anderson face Johnny Rice next and then put him in there with someone like Filip Hrgovic, who's already #1 by the IBF, and it's time to go. Let me see here. Who do I pick? Anderson versus Frank Sanchez, Alan R. That'd be a hell of a fight for Jared Anderson. By far the toughest opponent. I like Frank Sanchez. He's a top 10 heavyweight. I think Anderson beats him. I think Anderson's just got more firepower. He's got a little bit more of a dog in him than Frank Sanchez. I think Jared Anderson got a lot of dog in him. And I just think he's a more potent offensive fighter. That said, Sanchez would get to play counterpuncher, would get to play boxer. He would get to do what he's comfortable with against the style of Jared Anderson. And Frank would be countering Jared. He'd hit Jared with some hard shots. I don't think he would have the power to hurt or get Jared out of there. And so Jared would be relentless. And I think Jared would win that fight against Frank Sanchez. But that would be a hell of a test for Jared Anderson at this stage. Let's hear what he's saying. He landed almost 40% of his power shots tonight. He's very accurate, and he's got a jab to set it up. 14-0, 14 knockouts. Let me see. Yeah, Sanchez is good, Charles. Top 10. But I think Jared would beat him. But that'd be a tough fight for Jared. He'd see a lot of shit he hasn't seen before, skills-wise, counterpunching-wise. I think he would catch Anderson and test his chin, says Alan R. I agree. He would test his chin. I think he would hold up to the test. And he would catch him. He would counter Jared quite a bit. But I think Jared is so prolific on offense, good body puncher. I think he could take it to Sanchez and beat him, Let's see. What's he saying? He's saying he felt good as a southpaw. He says he actually feels like he hits a little harder as a southpaw. Bronco Kid said Anderson's offensive skills make him take his defense for granted. I've seen that a little bit lately. Tonight he actually was decent defensively. His reflexes bailed him out a couple of times. He was on the line to be hit by a sneaky big left hook by Arias, but then he's talented. And his reflexes at the last second, got him out of the way. Against fighters who are closer to him in talent or just as talented as him, that talent reflex might not bail him out at the last second. We'll only know once he gets up there. So Shakur Stevenson in the dressing room, hands are wrapped up, trunks are on, chilling and vibing with his big bro Terrence Crawford, and Terrence and him are just chilling, like they're hanging out, like he's not about to have to go into a professional prize fight. Very calm. 19-0 Shakur. ESPN.com's got him number 10 pound for pound. I think that's about right. I think him, Davis, and Haney are all at the bottom of the top 10. They all deserve to be on the list. Just getting in there ahead of some, before, just behind some more accomplished veterans ahead of them, but. Yeah. DK says, can Anderson be one of the greatest heavyweights of all time? I mean, there's no, I don't know. I mean, we'll take it step by step. Can we see Munguia versus Berlanga? I think that fight's very much in play because you got two guys that sell tickets pretty good, that got fun styles to watch, that are very beatable, that are, Mexico, Puerto Rico. I think that fight is very makeable. The question is, I don't really think Munguia is a 168-pounder. He started his career at 54. He is a 60-pounder. He's a legit middleweight, but I don't think he's a 68-pounder. Maybe if he could get back, he wouldn't get back down to 60 if he ever fought Berlanga. So it makes sense for Munguia. It's a winnable fight for Munguia because Berlanga's been so beatable, but he's not really a 168-pounder. So he runs into a dead end at 168 if he moves up for the Berlanga fight. At 160, I like the Charlo fight for him. I think Charlo would have been a favorite, but he's been out for 2 years. He's 33 years old now. Him and Charlo is the fight. It's probably the best fight at middleweight is probably him and Charlo. So I would like that instead. Berlanga, I wouldn't mind seeing him against Diego Pacheco at 168. The fight is on ESPN. Sun Soil said San Diego love. What's up, bro? Shout out to you, my man. Let me see what else we got in the chat. Alan R says Anderson tends to open up with his chin sticking out when he throws. He can be countered. You are correct, Alan R. And we even saw that in this fight. And that's why I think put him in there with Johnny Rice. Let him get countered. Because that's the only way he's going to find out. He's going to have to find out the hard way. Experience is usually the best teacher in life. And I think a right hand from Johnny Rice will make him take those defensive drills on the pads and all that. Make him really move that head off the line after he lets go of his combination on the pads. It'll make him more alert and respectful on the defensive side. So I feel like Top Rank should match him with Johnny Rice. I feel like that's the perfect kind of guy. He's got one good right hand in him that I think could get his attention. So how about Munguia versus Triple G? At 160 these days, I'd favor Munguia. But I heard Triple G might be retiring, so who knows? Triple G's best days are well past him. Elvin Morales says, what's up, man? Chicago love. Shout out to Chicago in the house. We got almost 500 people in the chat. And we're just waiting for main event time, and then it's time to call the action. Last minute prediction, Shakur handily. I expect a lot of stabs to the body by Shakur, taking advantage of a guy keeping his hands up out of the high guard. Saw Shakur Stevenson spar the week of Benavidez Plant, and I'm only divulging this because it's fight night at this point, so I'm not giving away anything Yoshino's team could find out. He was stabbing the fuck out of the body with a guy in there fighting with the high guard. So I kind of expect that to show up on fight night. Although once Shakur sparred a guy with a different style, he fought more on the back foot, countering, things like that. But when he was up against a guy coming right to him with the high guard, he was stabbing the body. So look out for that tonight during this fight. Ron501 says, let's go Yoshino. You can beat this kid. I wouldn't hold my breath, Ron501. Who's my pick between Benavidez and Andrade, Alan R? Benavidez, easy. Andrade, started at 154. He's still got a good left hand, but his legs aren't as great as they were at 54. They even slowed down a little bit from 60. Now he's made some adjustments with that. He's sitting down on that left hand more, and he's got some pop in that left hand. But I think he tapers off after the first 4 or 5 rounds. He's a guy that's at his best early in the fight, as opposed to getting stronger as the fight goes on. He tends to want to coast, and his legs, I don't think they're as fresh as Caleb Plant's were, and I don't think they can move around for all 12. And so once those legs are pretty stationary against Benavidez, you're dead meat. You're fighting a guy who's really a light heavyweight getting down to 68, and you started your career at 154. I think Benavidez stops Andrade. Yeah, I don't hesitate in that breakdown. Shakur versus Tank, who wins? Dylan Morrisal, tough fight to call. Tank, I think, is a more talented fighter than Shakur because he possesses a lot of the agility and coordination and hand speed and foot speed that Shakur Stevenson has, except he was blessed with knockout power in both hands. So he was blessed with something Stevenson doesn't have. But because Stevenson wasn't blessed with that power, it's made him a sharper, more disciplined boxer than Tank. So that fight could go either way. Davis, the way he doesn't throw a lot of punches and takes his time with his other opponents, if he did that with Stevenson, the fight would probably get away from him and he'd have to lose the fight by decision. Same with Devin Haney. But if Davis, knowing he's the shorter guy, knowing he's facing the pure boxers where he can't be the patient boxer as much, he's got to be the more aggressive, make the fight kind of guy. If he goes in there with Coach Calvin Ford understanding that, he might be able to knock them out at some point in the fight. So that's how I look at that matchup of Stevenson and Davis. Let me see. Silverstream, salute to you too, my man. I think Tank stops Stevenson late, maybe 5 years down the line would be better for Shakur. This is Elvin Morales. Champ B says the Wizard. Are you referencing myself, sir? Just curious. Tapales upset Akhmadaliev. MJ over on the zone. Murderjan Akhmadaliev got upset. Is that what happened, chat? Well, he was babysitting those WBA IBF belts, and Akhmadaliev, he was a good fighter, but he wasn't going to beat no Stephen Fulton or Inoue. So shout out to Tapales. Let me see here. Tank is going to retire in 2 years, King? Nah, I don't believe that. He's making too much money to retire. And the people around him are making too much money to let him retire. He's just saying that. He believes that when he says it, but he ain't retiring in 2 years. I would bet good money on that. So we're just killing some time before main event time. Mark Kriegel and the ESPN team, Tim Bradley. And where's my man Andre Ward at tonight, man? Oh, well, Andre... maybe it's I don't know what it I know he's part of Team Stevenson. He was for a long time, then he wasn't. Maybe that has something to do with why I don't see Andre right here. Let me see. Extreme PC Gamer. We haven't started the fight yet, so no one's won just yet. We're waiting for main event time. Brandon Lee is beating up Pedro Campa. No surprise there. That Pedro Campa is a tailor-made style for Brandon Lee to look good against, and Brandon Lee can fucking punch. Let me take a look at that real quick while we're killing time for the main event here on ESPN. Right now, this is the way ESPN has lightweight ranked. Number 1, Haney. Number 2, Loma. Number 3, it looked like Stevenson. Well, they cut the graphic. Stevenson still not gloved up. I don't know what's taking so long in the back. He still doesn't have his gloves on. It's main event time. It's time to go. Co-main event's done. It's almost 11:30 on the East Coast where they're fighting at. Let's get the show on the road, Top Rank. Let's go. Come on now. If you guys would hurry up, I might be able to still catch Fundora in time. Shakur still shadow boxing, not gloved up in the dressing room. That's just kind of odd. It's main event time. What's the holdup? All right, now I'm taking a look at the Showtime telecast here on my laptop as well. Brandon Lee in the 3rd round with Pedro Campa. Campa, of course, was stopped in 7 rounds against Teofimo Lopez. The perfect kind of come-forward style to look good against. And, yeah, just what's up with this delay on ESPN? I'm still trying to get my Showtime stream to get going, too. Stevenson is the best out of all of them. Stevenson will be the best fighter in the world in 1 to 2 years, says Mackenzie Green. Maybe, but I certainly think Stevenson's elite, top 10 pound for pound, but I'm not sold that he'll be number 1 pound for pound. He likes to stay a little conservative, and I even they would say that about Devin Haney, but Devin Haney's kind of busy. Devin Haney throws 50, 60 punches around a lot of times. Shakur will have rounds, like Tank Davis, only throwing 20 or 30 punches around. So I'm not as sold like everybody else that Stevenson is the cream of the crop out of the young guys. I think it could be a guy like Haney and not Stevenson that makes a run at number 1 pound for pound. I think all these young guys, Keyshawn Davis, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Gervonta, I think they're all poised for the elite level. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's Haney instead of Stevenson that breaks out of the elite level and makes a run for the number 1 spot at some point. We'll see. It could be any of them. Sean, the voice of boxing. Thank you, Barney. Did I witness Teddy Atlas rage out on the Valenzuela robbery? No, I didn't see it, but I didn't think it was that bad of a robbery. It was a close fight. Matty Boy says, Sean, how do you see this fight? Any knockouts? Nah, I don't see the only way we see a stoppage is if Yoshino is relentless. But if Yoshino eats some counter shots early and thinks twice about coming in, then we're probably headed the distance, where Shakur just picks him apart, pokes and prods him here and there to the body and to the head and wins a decision. But if Yoshino is relentless, Marcos Maidana, Ricky Hatton style, or like Masahiro Nakatani, when no matter what you hit him with, he just keeps coming, then maybe Stevenson gets a stoppage. But I think that's going to rely more on Yoshino being relentless, bringing that kind of offense out of Stevenson. Not Stevenson's temperament to go for a stoppage. Ron 501. Ron 501 is the Yoshino guy, man. Mackenzie Green says, I respect that, but Stevenson is special. Love your show. Keep doing your thing. Thank you, Mackenzie. And in the end, you may be right. It may indeed be Stevenson who winds up number one pound for pound. That wouldn't leave me with my jaw on my floor. I wouldn't be surprised. But I actually think Haney, a lot of people, I noticed most people peg Stevenson as making a run for number one pound for pound, but I think Haney is a little bigger than him and throws and has a little bit more volume than him. So we'll see. And so what's next for Caleb Plant? Dylan Morrisau? I think rest and a tune-up. I think if you're Caleb Plant and Louis DeCubas, you want to find a way to get the Charlo fight. Charlo would be moving up from 160. He's still undefeated. There'd be a lot of trash talk in the build-up to that fight. And if you're Caleb Plant, you feel like you're the favorite in that fight against a guy that hasn't fought as good a competition as you, a guy who started at 54, a guy who, hasn't seen that kind of movement and all that. I feel like that's the move. If I'm Caleb Plant's team, I stay away from David Morrell. I stay away. I look more towards the guys who've had to move up in weight, Andrade and Charlo, than I would moving up to 75 or fighting a young big middleweight like David Morrell. I think Caleb should rest, come back, take a winnable fight that he's supposed to win, and then look to Charlo to bring him up to 68. Very, very, very winnable fight and a big fight. So let me see. Wanakachi Jennifer said the Japanese fighter will score a knockdown, but I see Shakur winning. I don't see that, but we never know. This is why we fight the fights. Kent Jr. said Shakur is a problem. He'll be undisputed at 135 soon enough. Melanin Power says Haney is the one out of the bunch for sure. Seen it in him back when we went to school with each other. Still seen it now. Devin has it, but so does Shakur, which is why them fighting just won't happen. And I think you mean just won't happen like that. It'll have to be built up into a proper pay-per-view. Marvelous Irv said Plant should move to 160. I don't know if that's possible, Marvelous. He was a guy in the amateurs who fought at light heavyweight. He's fought his whole career at 168. Muscle-bound guy. I don't think he could make 60. So instead, Marvelous, fight the 60-pounders. Have them come up to 68. You can still fight 60-pounders, just not at 160. So, great fighters have done that. Marvin Hagler and Bernard Hopkins, two of the greatest middleweights, really made their rep off beating up welterweights. So Caleb beat up some middleweights at super middleweight. Rodrigo da Silva said, I'm still here, Sean. I'm sticking through all night with you. Thank you, my man. I appreciate that. Yeah, Morrell versus Benavidez. Looks like we might get that fight next. And for some reason, come on, Showtime, anytime. Give me my stream here. Let me check in on these Showtime fights while we're at it, since ESPN wants to take all day and all night. You know what? I'm going to pull up these Showtime fights on the PC, man. We'll flip back and forth. Boom, boom, boom. Showtime, anytime. Oof. But appreciate it. We almost got 500 people in here rocking in the chat. Hickson, Sean, who you got winning right now? Well, we're not in the main event yet, but I'm trying to catch this Brandon Lee fight in the meantime. Looks like I finally got a stream that might get it for me. Not a stream. I mean, I Showtime anytime. I'm not illegally streaming here, but hold on. Hold on. Shut up, Al Bernstein, before you get me in trouble. I don't want copyright. Here we go. All right, lowered. All right, so on the replay, it's Brandon Lee touching with a left hand to set up a huge overhand right, and definitely not a straight right hand. I mean, he came down over the top with it, overhand right. Little touch left hook, setting up another sweeping right hand for Brandon Lee against Pedro Campa on the replay from Showtime. A lot of swelling around that right eye of Pedro Campa. Brandon Lee is a big puncher. Half Korean, half Mexican kid, tough, strong kid. Has had some pedestrian performances lately, but is still on track to challenge for the titles at 140 pretty soon. That Shut Up Al Bernstein wasn't personal. It was just like, don't get us in trouble, Al, with copyright. Campa in the 5th round against Brandon Lee, and he is badly swollen around that right eye. Maybe some left hooks from Lee did it, but Campa still throwing and touching Lee to start round 5, but Lee catching a lot of it on the guard, some of it breaking through and touching him, and happy to let Campa come right to him and eventually walk him into the big power. And that's sometimes what fighters will do. They'll let the guy come in, let the guy throw, and almost feel comfortable in there for a minute, like he could get off, just so they can set up the big stuff. Campa, relentless and on top of Lee. Lee's body language, not the best off the back foot. Even when he's in control. And Campa is letting his combinations go and touching Lee. Nice right hand on the inside for Pedro Campa. Touched Lee's chin around. And nice jab through the center for Brandon Lee. Campa trying to get in. Campa being relentless with the pressure and with the work rate. And Lee looking to pick his spots in between all this pressure and work rate from Campa. Landing a right hand again and the left hook to the body. Campa, man, that right eye is about to swell shut, but he is landing some solid shots on Brandon Lee, who is not known as a very sophisticated defensive fighter. Known for his power. Nice short right hand on the inside by Brandon Lee as Campa is throwing 3 or 4 to 1. Nice left hook to the body by Campa, but he eats a left hand up top. Another left hook to the body by Campa. Campa getting in some good work here in the 5th. Lee is still touching him with clean head snapping shots in between. But Campa doing his thing. They trade left hooks on the inside. Campa landing a left hook, setting up his shots. Right uppercut on the inside for Brandon Lee as Campa let a left hook to the body go. Lee letting him throw so he could land that big uppercut on the inside. Spit6 says, I like you, Marvelous Irv. I like Marvelous Irv too, man. That's my guy. That's one of our favorites here in the chat. Campa getting some good work in. I know Brandon Lee isn't too troubled by this work that Campa's getting off on the inside, but he's getting touched. Brandon Lee not known for his defense. Campa touching him up with combinations, both hands, body, head. Lee giving a little smirk as if to concede, yeah, this guy's touching me up a little bit here. And this could be a Pedro Campa round in the 5th. Maybe I'm Brandon Lee's bad luck charm because Campa's face swelling shut heading into the 5th, and then I tune in to kill some time before Shakur Stevenson, and Campa is putting in work in the 5th round. Still eating some right hands on the inside by Brandon Lee, but he outlanded and outworked Brandon Lee and touched him up good in here in the 5th. They trade right hands on the inside, and it's all Campa getting off to the body, letting his hands go. Relentless work rate, good combination up top. Lee not discouraged, not really affected by the power of Campa, but that was a Pedro Campa round in round 5. And let's see what's going on now for Shakur Stevenson. Tail of the tape time for Stevenson. Same reach. Stevenson, both 68-inch reaches, and here comes Yoshino. Shuichiro Yoshino from Tokyo, Japan, 31 years old, 16-0. Solid size at the lightweight division, a legitimate lightweight, not a blown-up super featherweight, not a blown-up featherweight, but Shakur taking on a legit lightweight tonight, and Shuichiro Yoshino. These Japanese fighters now have been making more and more of a name for themselves globally, like Inoue. Guys like Junto Nakatani have gotten some knockouts in Las Vegas, and these Japanese fighters are getting a little more explosive before. They've always had great conditioning, great heart, chin, but never been explosive guys. Not big punchers, but that's beginning to change a little bit now. And Yoshino not as explosive as some of his countrymen like Kazuto Ioka, Junto Nakatani, or Inoue, but kind of a guy more like Ryoto Murata at middleweight. Strong, fundamentally sound, high guard, not as strong pound for pound as Murata was at middleweight. Murata, but maybe not as slow as Murata, but about the same ballpark hand speed wise, you know, when you're adjusting for lightweight versus middleweight. But I would say Yoshino closer on the spectrum to a Murata, you know, a tough guy who won a belt at middleweight, but not on the level of Ioka, who's a multiple division champ, Inoue, who's one of the best fighters in the sport, and Nakatani, who's one of the best young fighters coming up. So, you know, a solid lightweight. What I've seen from him, nothing more, nothing less. A solid lightweight, undefeated, tough guy. Yoshino, here he is in the ring now. Got some Lakers colors on. I doubt he's referencing that, although they do love basketball and baseball in Japan just like we do in the States. Maybe he's got giving a little Lakers shout out here. Shuichiro Yoshino. Here comes Shakur Stevenson now in the back. Dope robe by Shakur. Got some blue going in there. Some rose gold with some blue. Got a rapper behind him ready to walk him to the ring. I don't know no rappers past the year 2005. I think Mike Jones is about as new as it gets for me. So I don't know this MC walking out Brick City's finest. The only thing missing from Shakur Stevenson is he hasn't walked out with Redman, the greatest rapper from New Jersey. But here comes Shakur Stevenson, not yet visible to the hometown arena, the Prudential Center where the Nets used to play when they were the New Jersey Nets. And here comes Shakur Stevenson now to the ring, visible to the arena. Big smile, those dimples showing. And here he comes, 25 years old, entering his real prime now. Shakur Stevenson, a 22-1 favorite, number 10 pound for pound. Didn't become undisputed, but became the champion at 130 pounds when he unified the WBC and WBO titles against Oscar Valdez. That was number 1 versus number 2, and he proved himself that night last April as the best super featherweight in the world. Now he's at lightweight, a much tougher division, a much deeper division with a lot of talent all across the boards, maybe the most talent-rich division, but it speaks to how highly regarded Shakur Stevenson is, that he's just new to the division, and many people feel he could beat any lightweight in the world. Despite being new to the division and guys, you know, top to bottom, it being stacked. So, you know, that's how highly the boxing public thinks of Shakur. And he makes his way to the ring. A lot of people think this kid will be number 1 pound for pound at some point. Here he comes now. Entering the ring, about to make his way through the ropes. Looks like a very good crowd. The sold-out lower half, lower bowl at the Prudential Center, probably, you know, nearing 10,000 people there tonight. Looks like the upper deck is tarped off, but they've sold out the lower deck here in Newark. Very solid crowd showing up near midnight for Shakur Stevenson tonight. So here we go. This Lee fight is insane, Bostons. They are killing each other. Cram Calisthenics says, what the fuck, his dimples? Yeah, I heard you. I was tempted to say pause there, but, you know, I'm being descriptive here. You know, he smiles and them dimples are big as hell. I noticed them. That robe is dope, King. Right hook to the dimples. I'll call it. If he lands it on the dimples, Cram, I will call it. So here we go. Dylan Morrisal saying Shakur's getting touched tonight. Really? You think so? You think so, huh? We shall see. We shall see. He's a tough guy to touch. Oscar Valdez didn't have much success doing it. So here we go. Both guys in the ring. Please hit the like button if you're joining us in the live. We appreciate that for sure. And now Top Rank is set to do This is boxing. This is Top Rank with the whole Marvin Hagler, Muhammad Ali montage. I'll take a quick look over at the Showtime fights. Wow, they're taking forever. Oh, they are going to war. Kampa and Lee in round 7. Great exchanges from both guys. My man Kobe, thank you, my man, for the $5 super chat. Says, I hate the rapper ring walks. Boxing should up the production and have WWE style type ring walks. Allow the entrance music to be synonymous with the boxer. Well, Kobe, sometimes guys, they nail it. They nail it. They pick the right song with the right swag. Like everybody loved Terrence Crawford coming out to Shaka Khan. They loved him coming out to LL Cool J. I remember Josh Taylor coming out to If I Can't from 50 Cent for Jose Ramirez. And I just looked at it and I said, damn, I made the wrong pick. He's about to win this fight, you know. Jermaine Taylor coming out to In the Air Tonight with Bernard. Sometimes Errol Spence, people loved it when Errol Spence came out to Southside the Realist from Big Tuck. So I'm with you. The ring walk, it's important. It's one of the hypest parts of the main event. It's the pageantry. And the problem, Kobe, when they do the rapper ring walks is the audio's all fucked up. It's not as clear as if they were just booming the track so you could hear it clear. The rapper a lot of the time is like touching his earpiece to make sure he's on beat and everything. And so, yeah, a lot of times it sounds cool, you know, having this rapper walking the ring, but the execution usually leaves something to be desired. So, but thank you for the super chat, my man. We are here. Ring introductions going down right now. Shakur getting introduced and just ready to call some action, man, once the first bell rings. Omar Munoz says, I got Yoshino. Are you sure about that, my man? I don't know about all that. Greetings from Australia, says Philip Samuels. Thank you, my man. Thank you. Shout out to Australia in the house. Jameson Childress said, no pause needed, Sean. People just got to grow up. I digress. Real quickly about pause. It's kind of like you kind of suspect for saying pause because it means you have cock on your mind so much that you can't say a word like long or big without thinking of penis. So you know, I kind of want to flip it on the people that love to say that pause shit so much. Pause yourself. You know, get your mind off penis for a second so that I you know, we can speak on other topics without you thinking about it. Here we go. And that was a very professional segue into round one. We're about to start here with Stevenson versus Shuichiro Yoshino from Japan. Wow, so Shakur has lost 0.02% of the rounds on his scorecards. Out of 391 rounds scored, he's lost 8 rounds on the judges' scorecard. Here we go, round one, Stevenson Yoshino. Here on FightHype Live, Yoshino coming out with that high guard as expected, looking to close distance early on, and Shakur immediately touching him with a right hook as he looks to come forward, hitting him on the top of the head with that high guard up from Stevenson. Yoshino coming forward, pawing, kind of feinting, pawing with his jab. Stevenson calm and composed, dealing with the pressure. Good, nice jab by Stevenson, and he backs away, takes those half steps back. Stevenson in the corner, backs away to his left, glides his back along the ropes. Yoshino trying to come inside and gets countered a little bit over the top of the left hand as he tried to get to the body, and then Stevenson finishing off with a little bit of a left hand to the body there too. A fight breaking out in front row. Fighters not distracted by it. Yoshino getting underneath, getting his head held down, and then trying to throw a right hand to the body there as he tried to close distance. Center ring for both fighters. Yoshino in that high guard. Stevenson just measuring and taking a look at him. Tries to sweep a left hand around the guard. Yoshino blocks it. Then he makes Stevenson miss a sweeping left hand to the body, makes him hit air. Yoshino trying to come in behind a lead left hook, but just touching with it, and doesn't want to commit to it because he knows that counter's there. Straight right hand to the body by Yoshino, trying to corner Stevenson. Stevenson touching with the lead hand, shoots off a jab and a sweeping left hand to the body. Yoshino, decent defense there. Stevenson shoving him out of the clinch. Middle of the ring, they reset. Yoshino not backing up. Stevenson letting a jab go. Yoshino moving his head around, catching it on the guard. Stevenson sweeping a left hand, stepping inside, trying to get inside and set up an angle on the inside and get in that right hook. Yoshino dipping his head down, getting away from it. Yoshino staying busy with that lead hand, not even throwing it a lot, but just being busy, trying to probe with it. Stevenson places in a right hand there in between all that motion. Yoshino lets go of a right hand and left hook. Stevenson dips away from the right hand, falls into the clinch after that left hook. They exchange. Left hook by Yoshino, just a little bit off, and he caught the sweeping left hand by Stevenson. Yoshino backing Stevenson up, eats a little bit of a right hook on the top of his head. Stevenson so good at checking you with that hook. Now Yoshino steps in behind a right hand that Stevenson blocks, but in that high guard allows Yoshino to get off a couple of body shots. Nice jab by Stevenson, backing Yoshino up for a second. Changing reversals, center of the ring. Stevenson letting go of that jab, falling a little short with it. Holding his ground now more instead of those half steps back. Tries to walk Yoshino into a knifing left hand to the body. Yoshino keeping the elbows tucked in at least. 20 seconds left in the round. Competitive first round. Yoshino getting sharpshooted a little bit, but not defensively terrible. Not getting hit by everything. 10 seconds left in the round. Stevenson little half steps back. Now he plants his feet in the center of the ring. Sweeping left hand by Stevenson. Got around that guard, that right glove a little bit by Yoshino, and that'll do it for round 1. 10-9 Shakur Stevenson. Yoshino on the front foot, bringing some pressure. Even got Stevenson's back to touch the corner and the ropes a couple of times. Not able to get too much done, but got out of the way of some of the shots. Didn't get countered by everything. Ate a couple of shots here and there. Stevenson won the round. But, not a terrible first round for Yoshino out of that high guard. 10-9 Stevenson. We got almost 600 people in the chat. Hit the like if you enjoy the round by round. Compa is game. So, Steve Farhood has Compa ahead now of Brandon Lee. Well, I saw in that 5th round, Lee was, getting outworked. So I'm not surprised that Campa's kind of starting to turn the tide there. Omar Munoz saying Yoshino's going to sushi Shakur. Sheesh. Yeah, because it's Japanese. You had to make the sushi reference. Waiting for round 2 to begin now. 10-9 Stevenson. Wasn't blowing Yoshino out the water in round 1. Here we go. Round 2. Stevenson holding his ground to start. 12-6 land advantage for Stevenson. Yoshino was more active. 42 punches to just 33 thrown for Stevenson. Nice left uppercut to the body by Stevenson. Allowed Yoshino to step in behind his jab, and then he brought that right hand up. Did Stevenson to block whatever was coming. Then he knifed that left uppercut to the body. Nice shot by Stevenson there. And I told you before the fight, I expect Stevenson to land clean to the body in this fight. To knife his shots down there. Lead right hook blocked by Yoshino, but then a straight left hand zips him down the pipe. Straight right hand for Yoshino lands. Nice straight right hand by Yoshino in the center of the ring. And Stevenson covered up after that. Yoshino gets Stevenson on the ropes, tries to let his hand go. Good defense by Stevenson. But that was a right hand that got in for Yoshino a moment ago. Yoshino stepping in, throws 1-2 to set up a little right hand to the body. Stevenson stabs with a jab to the body with the right hand. Straight right hand by Yoshino, letting his hands go. Stevenson gets his head off the line. Straight right hand to the body by Yoshino, letting his hands go. That's what he's got to do. He's got to be more active. He can't match the accuracy punch for punch. He's got to be more active. Stevenson now comes forward, touches with the jab, and then shoots one and lands it. Now he shoots a straight left hand behind the jab and lands it through the center. Not fully sitting down on it, but touching up Yoshino that time. Straight left hand to the body by Stevenson. Now a straight left hand up top by Stevenson. Touching off that jab in the center of the ring. Holding his ground. Nice jab by Stevenson. Half step back. Makes Yoshino fall short with a body shot. Then he resets and plants his feet again. Stevenson turning to his right. Keeping it in the center of the ring. Yoshino trying to bring... Oh, down goes Yoshino! Straight left hand by Shakur Stevenson. Beautiful shot. Stevenson was stepping over the offense of Yoshino. And then placed a perfect... straight left hand down the pipe. Beautiful shot by Stevenson. Yoshino is up. And okay, left uppercut lands for Stevenson. And then a straight left hand after that left uppercut. Stevenson picking the hands up. Stepping to Yoshino. Straight left hand for Stevenson. Yoshino keeping another straight left hand for Stevenson. Splitting that high guard. Stevenson staying on top of Yoshino in the high guard. Misses with a left uppercut. Lands the jab. Touching with the jab. Yoshino moving to his left. Straight left hand lands for Stevenson again. And he gets out of the way of the 3-punch combination with half step back. Steps back in range now. Right hook caught by Yoshino. Yoshino falling short with the straight right hand. Stevenson able to take a half step out and then return immediately in range like a cat. Left uppercut to the body inside by Stevenson. Stevenson staying on top of Yoshino. Yoshino getting his shots blocked. Missing the shoulder roll defense in the pocket by Stevenson, not allowing anything to land to the body or to the head. 10 seconds left in the round. Stevenson, again, that shoulder roll in the pocket makes Yoshino hit elbows and arms or air. And that does it for round 2. 20-17 Stevenson. That straight left hand knockdown by Stevenson was a thing of beauty. It's one of the most beautiful shots in his highlight reel right now. So that was one of the best shots I've seen Stevenson land so far in his career. That was very beautiful straight left hand. Yoshino was doing what he's supposed to do, trying to be busy against the slicker, more skilled fighter. Try to, be tough, be active. Let's take a look here. Stevenson stepping over to his right. Makes him miss the right hand, the left hook, hitting the shoulder, and then boom! Tries a beautiful shot. So Stevenson in the shoulder roll, stepping over to his right, makes Yoshino literally hit nothing but shoulder with the right hand. Then he makes him miss the left hook. And then, boom, straight left hand down the pipe, straight as an arrow, dropped Yoshino. Razor sharp, steak knife sharped up by Shakur Stevenson. Good stuff. Good stuff. Compact left, Marvelous Irv. Well said. Yes, sir. Yep, that'll be... Yep, beautiful, short, straight left, says Fire in My Bones. Absolutely, guys. So round 3, Shakur. Love to see him sit down on that straight left hand again. Oh, straight left hand to start. 16 out of 25 power shots for Stevenson. A 64% connect percentage in round 2. Super accurate. Nice left hand to the body by Stevenson. Stepped in, kept that right glove high to make Yoshino think the jab was coming. Then he knifed in that straight left to the body. And he is so good at keeping that right hand up to cut off any offense coming this way. Oh, not left uppercut in the body again by Stevenson. Yoshino letting his hands go, letting go of combinations and hitting nothing but air. Straight left to the body by Shakur Stevenson, staying on top of Yoshino, making him miss in the pocket, not needing to use his feet excessively to make his man miss. Straight left through the center again by Shakur Stevenson. Now a straight left hand sets up a right hook and a sweeping left hand. Yoshino keeping the hands up though. But some of those shots splitting the guard. Minute into the round. 2 double right hand by Yoshino and a right hand to the body and then a left hook. All of it either blocked or evaded in the pocket by Stevenson. Stevenson sweeping left hand. Yoshino with the high guard. Still a lot of it just splits through. Straight left hand to the body. Yoshino saying, oh, that was borderline. Referee didn't feel it. Stevenson. Oh, beautiful right hook by Shakur Stevenson. Yoshino was getting in close with Stevenson. Stevenson staying in there. Yoshino trying to sweep a right hand to the body. And Stevenson just perfectly timed him up with the right hook. Straight left hand by Stevenson along the ropes. Straight left hand, right hook off the ropes by Stevenson. Rattles Yoshino. It looks like Stevenson could definitely get a stoppage here tonight. Straight left hand to the body by Stevenson. And then a double right hook with a right hook finish to the body beautifully. Left uppercut to the body by Stevenson. On the inside, staying in the pocket. Stevenson seeing everything in the pocket, sometimes using his length and then getting low when he wants to, being tall in the pocket when he wants to, dipping the body shot. Straight left hand sets up a right hook up top by Stevenson. It's really fun to watch right now, the accuracy and skills of Stevenson against a fighter willing to just stay in front of him. It allows Stevenson to get off his best stuff. Stevenson along the ropes, high guard, dip away, boom, reset in the center of the ring, right hook, sweeping left hand, right hook again, splitting the guard in all types of ways, through the center, around the guard to the side, down low to the body, sweeping the high guard however he feels. He can pick up any opening with this arsenal right now. Yoshino staying on top of Stevenson. Tough Japanese fighter, like his straight right hand lands for Yoshino, and then he flurries to the body. He has landed 2 or 3 straight right hands in this fight, but he's paying the receipts, the price. Left uppercut for Stevenson. Has such great accuracy. Right uppercut by Yoshino on the inside, but Stevenson is staying in the pocket, so some shots may get in here or there. But that defense is tight, regardless of a right hand or a right uppercut getting in once or twice this round. That round was all Shakur Stevenson. 30-26 Shakur Stevenson. And it's fun to watch right now, man. He is like a surgeon picking off that basic fundamental high guard. He's shooting off uppercuts through it, shooting off body shots through it, right hooks, sweeping left hands, straight left hands. Fun stuff to watch. I'm enjoying it. Shakur looks solid at this division. Get money. Says get money. Yoshi should be digging the left hook to the liver, Alan R. That shot's not really there the way we think it is. Stevenson's catching all the body shots, sometimes just by leaving that lead right hand low in the shoulder roll, and so that lead right hand is staying by the waist and catching a lot. Or other times he's just catching it on the elbows, or it's hard to land the left hook against a guy with that good shoulder roll in the pocket like that. But you're right. You still got to throw it. You still got to throw the body shots. You just got to accept you're going to get countered by a guy like Stevenson and just give it your best. Easier said than done. Round 4. Yoshino open straight left hand through the center of the guard by Stevenson. Then he steps in with a right hand and knifes a straight left to the body. Let's take a look. A slow-mo replay by ESPN just showing off the defense by Stevenson along the ropes. Yoshino using his jab, straight right hand to the body. Stevenson left uppercut. Let him shoot that off so he can walk him into that beautiful left uppercut by Stevenson. Yoshino stepping in, tries to sweep that right hand to the body. Right hand, left hand to the body. Stevenson catching it on the elbows and evading the headshots up top when he tries to work his levels with the combination. They fall into the clinch and a sharp right hook to the body by Stevenson, and then he finishes with a sweeping left hand up top. Now a left uppercut on the inside by Stevenson. Stevenson is punishing him in the pocket. Catching and shooting, making him miss, making him pay, hitting that body. Yoshino staying on top of Stevenson with the high guard. Stevenson sometimes only showing him half of his body with that southpaw stance. Left uppercut lands for Stevenson, and then a jab out, and Stevenson staying right in front of him, just taking little steps over to his left, little steps over to his right here or there, but not really backing up much. Just stepping over and knifing shots through the guard. Yoshino staying on top, letting his hands go, trying to reach with that straight right hand, falling short. Stevenson measuring, taking little half steps back now, falls on the ropes, but then circles back out to the center ring. Stab, jab to the body in the center of the ring for Shakur Stevenson. Straight left sets up a right hook, using those punches to set up other punches through the guard. Nice jab lands for Stevenson up top. Another jab up top, takes a half step back, shoots a right hook up top, and then finishes with a left uppercut to the body. Nice little right hook by Stevenson again, with Yoshino still throwing, still brave, like these Japanese warriors are known for. Stevenson along the ropes, back straight up, boom, straight left hand, placed it. Now a straight right hand by Yoshino lands with Stevenson along the ropes. Stevenson grinning, not affected by it, gets off the ropes after eating that straight right hand. So Yoshino's landed about 3 or 4 right hands in this fight, but 3 or 4 to about nearly 100 landed shots already for Stevenson. Stevenson stepping in, drops Yoshino. Sweeping left hand. Yoshino reacted to it, and then a sweeping left hand and a masterful right hook. Thrown with bad intentions. Dropped Yoshino on that 3-punch sequence. Yoshino is up, and he's tough, but he knows he's in over his head against a kid with these kind of skills, man. Here we go, round 4, 20 seconds left. Stevenson with a lead right hook. Yoshino still keeping his hands up, defensively alert. 10 seconds left in the round. Left uppercut, right hook by Stevenson, getting caught on the guard. Stevenson touching with the jab. Straight left hand. Measuring. Another left hand falls a little short for Stevenson, and he hits him with a jab, and that does it for round 4. 2 knockdowns for Shakur Stevenson against the perfect kind of style for him to look good against. So 40-34 with 2 knockdowns in rounds 2 and 4 for Shakur Stevenson. Shakur looking good, man. Shakur looking good. Power Pop looking good at 35. Referee and doctor are looking at Yoshino. They could continue to let this thing go on, but this is going to get absolutely no better for Yoshino. He's just going to take punishment. And kind of like that Jared Anderson fight, even though it feels early, it's only been 3 or 4 rounds, it's not going to get any better. You might just want to stop it. Beautiful. So Shakur got a little bounce in his step. Here's the replay on the knockdown. Shakur stepping in with a sweeping left hand. Then he bounced, said, okay, you're going to stay right there again. So then Shakur jumped in with a jab, sweeping left hand, and really came back with the mother load with the right hook. Bang! So it was a sweeping left hand. Okay, you're still going to stand there. Step in with the jab, sweeping left hand, finish up with the hook, and that's what dropped Yoshino in round 4. Here we are in the 5th now. 88-28 connect for Shakur. He has been hit by 12% of Yoshino's punches and has landed 52% of his own punches. 88-28 connect advantage for Stevenson. Check right hook by Shakur Stevenson as Yoshino still trying to come in. A check right hook, nailing him, coming in. And Yoshino's just going to take punishment at this point. This fight ain't going to get any better for him. Left uppercut on the inside to the body for Stevenson, then he brings it up. He doubles it up. Left uppercut up top. Yoshino still barreling his way in, getting caught with the left hand of the body. Still coming in. Right hand of the body lands for Yoshino. Tries to finish up with the left hook up top. Yoshino starting to bend his head down lower now. When he gets in, that uppercut could come in. Yoshino bending his head down, trying to get to the body of Stevenson. Game as they come. Straight right hand getting blocked by Yoshino. Trying to reach to the body. Shakur just blocking it. Now Shakur steps in with a sweeping left hand, right hook like the sequence that dropped him. Yoshino getting the hands up, but even when he gets the hand up, it's knocking him around. Yoshino missing big with a left hook. Shakur getting underneath it, showing he could get underneath and not just catch. Straight left hand sets up a right hook in the center of the ring for Shakur, and he goes, ooh, as if to say, I love landing these power shots. Left uppercut to the body, and Yoshino ties up after that left uppercut to the body. Halfway through the 5th round in the center of the ring. Shakur has been on the front foot very much these last 2 rounds. Shakur staying right in front. Little half steps to the right. Now he steps over. Left hand sets up a right hook up top. Woo! Right uppercut just off by Stevenson. He tried to sneak it in there. Yoshino didn't see it. Left uppercut lands for Stevenson. And Yoshino beginning to punch with his head down. And that could be... He could get countered nasty doing that. Left uppercut splits the guard a little bit for Stevenson. Wildly off with the right hook. Sweeping left hand sets up that right hook again. Stevenson loving that setup. Sweeping the left hand to set up the right hook out of the southpaw stance. Yoshino letting his hands go. Flailing forward with some of these punches. Hitting nothing but air, shoulders or arms or gloves. Oh, sharp jab by Shakur Stevenson. Knocked the head up of Yoshino coming forward. Another jab. Hooks off the jab. More combinations tonight by Shakur Stevenson. 2 straight right hands. Landing for Yoshino. Still tough. Misses a left hook by Yoshino. Not lacking for any toughness. Right hook up top. Left hand to the body. Right hook, straight left hand up top for Stevenson. Some of it getting blocked, but the combinations, I'm not used to calling this many combinations for Shakur Stevenson. 10 seconds left in the 5th. Stevenson, glad to fight in the high guard right in front of Yoshino, and they close up the 5th. Nice exchange by Stevenson. Left uppercut. Nice southpaw jab to clean up round 5. 50 to 43 for Shakur Stevenson. 2 knockdowns. And I like that Shakur isn't pop-shotting. I like that. Yeah, he's got a plotter. He's got a guy in front of him, tailor-made, to look good against. But he could still just be pop-shotting. Just straight left hand. Move, move, move. Straight left hand. Stab to the body with the jab. Move, move, move. Straight left hand. He could be doing that bullshit. He's staying in the pocket, fucking this guy up. So, credit to Shakur Stevenson right now. Credit to Shakur for that. Definitely credit to Shakur for that. Because like I said, if he wanted to, he could be doing the straight left hand. Stab to the body with the jab. Reset, reset. Center of the ring. Using the whole ring. No, he's staying in front of this guy in the pocket, throwing some nasty combinations to the body and to the head, eating a couple of right hands here and there, and not eating the right hand and saying, all right, let me get back to my boxing and on my feet. No, he's, all right, you hit me with a good shot. I'm staying right in here because I want to punish you with combinations. So good stuff from Shakur there. Here we are in round 6 now. High Society said this is a fake fight, dude fighting a tomato can. Yeah, but... You could pop shot the tomato can. You could make it boring against a tomato can. He's lighting his ass up, so that's good. This is stuff that he needs to work on. He needed to work on his combination punching. He needed to work on staying in the pocket and killing the body. And so this is good experience for Shakur. Jab lands for Shakur. Then Yoshino gets his head off the line to get away from the straight left hand. But then he eats the right hook. 1, 2, 3. Combinations allowing for more offense to be done for Shakur instead of just throwing one at a time. Here we are in the 7th. Night double jab for Stevenson. Using hard right hook off that jab. Yoshino staying right in front of him. Stevenson giving half of his body. And then shooting the left uppercut while giving half of his body in that shoulder roll. Beautiful stuff there by Stevenson. Southpaw is very good at giving half their body when they want to. Nice jab by Stevenson. Yoshino along the ropes. Stevenson putting him on the ropes right now. Measuring with another jab. Threw that last jab like a power shot. Almost threw it like a straight left hand lands for Stevenson. Now touching with the right hook. Yoshino for the first time retreating. Maybe Stevenson smelling blood. Yoshino steps in. Lands a little short left hook though. Feinted a couple times with the left. Stepped in. Shakur tried to get off to the side. Eating that left hook grazed him a little bit. Now Yoshino eating a counter left hand and the referee sees enough. That's it. He stops it in round number 6. Yoshino says he's fine. Yoshino's on his feet. And Shakur tells the ref, why'd you stop it? I was about to stop it with myself, with my fist. But that's it. 6th round TKO for Shakur Stevenson. A good fight because he had a guy in front of him who he could light up like a Christmas tree. And instead of just poking and prodding it, now Yoshino gets to play the game. Oh, why'd you stop it? But you were getting just, lit up, my man. Good. The referee was looking out for your health. So, Stevenson gets the 6th round stoppage. Anticlimactic stoppage, but a good stoppage. This fight was done. And what I like from Stevenson tonight is he didn't pop shot. He didn't use excessive movement. We want to see more combinations from Stevenson. Well, you got to work on combinations against lower level guys like this so that when you fight the Haneys and the Lomachenkos and the Davises, now you're not trying to do something you haven't been doing. So this was a good fight by Stevenson. I give him an A. I give Shakur Stevenson the A tonight. He let his hands go. He stayed in the pocket. He had a great defense in the pocket. He showed a couple of different looks. Didn't rely on the jab a whole lot tonight. He was looking to throw combinations and hurt this guy, and he gets the knockout. 20-0, 10 knockouts. I give him an A for his performance. He did what he was supposed to do. Give him an A. So I guess now I got to get to the Sebastian Fundora fight now, right? Here, let me take a look here. One moment. Let me see here. I guess we switch to the Fundora fight now. That sounds like a fun party. Let's do that. Let's do that, chat. Chat, are we good here? Shakur did his damn thing. Oh, it's not even main event time for Fundora and Mendoza. Let's go. Let's go. We could do that. Jameson Childress said Shakur can't win based on some of these comments. It's not he didn't ask for the bigger names. Right, Jameson Childress. No, fair point. Thank you for the super chat, Jameson. These are facts. Shakur tried to get Esau Cruz. Politics got in the way of that. Esau's with PBC, so they didn't want to do that fight. So Esau Cruz didn't want to fight him or couldn't contractually fight him. And then he called out George Kambosos. Kambosos said, "Look, kid, I just fought Devin Haney twice. Let me get a soft touch." Shakur said, "All right, I get it." And then William Zepeda, the undefeated lightweight who punches hard, he turned down the smoke. So Shakur could have had 3 top 10 lightweights in the ring with him tonight. They all said no. So they get the tough guy from Japan to fly overseas, and he lights him up like a Christmas tree. Good on Shakur. He gets the A from me tonight. That wasn't like Nakatia, where you're sitting there going, "Where's the combinations? I know you're winning the fight, but put your foot on the pedal." Shakur would tell me, this guy wasn't as dangerous as Nakatia. Nakatia's tall, awkward, and punches hard. This guy was straight up and down, so it was easier. And that's true, but part of it was you too, Shakur. It was your temperament tonight. You wanted to stop him, so you did it. So you kept your foot on the gas. So, good shit. Kelly Storm says, "Thanks, FightHype. I love you." I love you too, Kelly Storm. Thank you. Motherfucker said, "I like Shakur's style. Sweet science, baby. No doubt. No doubt." So De Los Santos wanted to fight him, Tunnel Vision. I didn't even hear about that. Is that true? That's crazy. Well, De Los Santos is on the PBC side of things right now, so that makes it harder to do. But if De Los Santos wanted that smoke, good on him. Get Money said Nakatia a dog. Nakatia showed us he's got something beating up a washed up Burchell. Yeah, Burchell was washed, but he showed us that you got to give Shakur a little bit of props for that win. Not that he's some elite fighter, but he wasn't just some bum, you know. Alan R says, "I hope Loma beats Haney so that we get Lomachenko versus Shakur." Well, I think you're a hell of a lot more likely to see Shakur versus the winner if it's Loma than if it's Haney. If it's Haney, I just feel like the people involved are going to be like, this fight isn't really that big a fight yet compared to what it could be if built up properly. I just feel like the parties involved, not the fighters, but the parties involved will be like, it's too quick to make this fight. So I think Shakur's a lot more likely to get Loma if he pulls off the upset. I just don't see Loma winning that fight. Let's see. Jermaine Ortiz is a good test for Shakur, says Critical Thinker. That's not a bad fight for him while he's keeping busy. Arnold Barboza. Well, Barboza's a 140-pounder, that's right. Now they're showing my man La Bala, Brian Mendoza, getting ready in the dressing room. My man Mendoza had a big left hook knockout last year. He's an explosive guy, but big underdog tonight against Sebastian Fundora. Jermaine Ortiz would fight Shakur, I believe, says JH. Yeah, he would fight him. He would fight him. He would definitely fight him. He would fight him, but... So now we're just waiting. The Towering Inferno Warming up in the dressing room, the 6'6", 154-pounder on the ESPN side of things, Shakur Stevenson has wrapped up a 6th-round dominant TKO over Shuichiro Yoshino of Japan. Now 10 knockouts in 20 fights, keeps the record sexy. 20-0, 9 knockouts, not as sexy as 20-0, 10 knockouts. He gets the double-digit knockouts as a pro. And now it's time to watch some war in the war grounds down there in LA, down there in Carson, between one of the most fan-friendly styles in the sport right now, Sebastian Fundora, against Brian La Bala Mendoza, Cuban-American, talented kid, but in tough tonight against Fundora. Malik Watkins says Jermaine Ortiz beat Loma, in my opinion. He was winning. Faded in the last 4 rounds. I thought Loma, with that rally late, did enough to edge it. But it was a very close fight. 12 Monkey says Loma will win. I don't think so, man. But you never know. I mean, he's a future Hall of Famer in his own right. So boxing is about to take off in the next upcoming month, says Visit the Day. Yep. 6'6", 154 don't sound right, motherfucker. It doesn't. But and to hell with using your range and your jab. He don't know what that is. He just want to throw Shoryuken, Ken and Ryu uppercuts on people. Sebastian Fundora loves those 3-4. I love 3-4s too. I love seeing fighters do it, but he really loves the 3-4. As a matter of fact, if you guys want to be drunk as shit tonight, take a shot every time you hear me say Sebastian Fundora with the 3-4 or the 4-3. You're going to be drunk as shit by round 4. I guarantee you. Yeah, good win, Shakur. I gave him the A. Shakur gets the A tonight. So now, my man, I don't know who this ring announcer is. This isn't Lupe Contreras. This ain't David Diamante. This ain't my man Ramblin' Ralph Velez. I don't know who the fuck Showtime has for the main event ring announcing, but it's not really important because here comes the fighters. Brian Mendoza coming to the ring. I'm curious if that left hook can maybe be a jackpot for him tonight. That's his best shot, man, is if that left hook can hurt Fundora at some point and change the fight dramatically, because I just don't see him beating this guy over 12 rounds. We'll see. Here comes Mendoza. He restructured his career, got things going. He always had talent, but lost a fight early on in his career. Then he gets with Ishmael Salas, fellow Cubano, who is harvesting more of his potential out of here. He knocked out Jason Rosario last November, the former champion of the division, knocked him out in the 5th. So Mendoza looks very serious. Great kid that I've talked to out here in Vegas. Always been a great kid with talent. Always looked the part. And now with Salas, he's been fighting more the part. Let's see how this goes down in a very empty arena out there in Carson. But the fans that are on hands are about to see a great fight, because Sebastian Fundora, he can't be in a bad fight. He's one of the most fan-friendly fighters in the sport right now. I know if you're a purist, he might drive you nuts not ever using his jab and his height. But if you're a fight fan, this dude is never in a bad fight. He's just fun to watch. Kobe, thank you, my man. Thank you for the super chat, my man. Kobe saying, boxing's having a great first half of the year. What fights would you like to see realistically happen in the second half to not disappoint for the year? Great question, Kobe. Thank you for the super chat. I want to see Usyk and Fury agree to terms, because Bob Arum let it be known. The reason why the fight went off is the Saudis, they didn't want to pay that enormous bag in the springtime or summer. They want to schedule the fight in the winter. So Fury and Usyk, being the businessmen they are, they're not going to fight for half or less than half the pot in England, when if they just wait, they'll make that much more money in the Middle East. So I want that fight to happen. I think that fight does happen. Other fights, Benavidez Canelo isn't happening this year. Canelo's booked with Bivol. So I want to see Benavidez not against Christian Mabili. Whether you guys give him Andrade or whether you give him David Morrell. David Morrell is a fight that could be a real pay-per-view 2 to 3 years from now. It's undercooked. It's under-marinated, but it's still a great fight. So Benavidez and Morrell, I'm still down for that. Benavidez and Andrade. I just want to make sure Benavidez isn't fighting his mandatory Christian Mabili. Other fights that could be done. in the second half of the year that are realistic? I'm trying to think here. Jermell Charlo and Tim Tszyu, obviously. Spence and Crawford, which, we're all tired of that shit, but I actually think it's going to happen. I think we get Spence Crawford. I think we get Fury Usyk. I think we get Tszyu and Charlo. What else? What else is some realistic big one? I mean, we're still going to get Fulton and Inoue technically in the second half of the year. What else? Yeah. Trying to... Charlo and Adames. You know, they're not going to throw Charlo in there with Andrade, Plant, certainly Canelo, Benavidez. So, a realistic fight for Charlo coming back to 60. Carlos Adames. That's a good fight. Yeah. Boots against someone that matters would be nice. That's about all I got for you, Kobe. Thank you, my man. New Me said the real question is who believes Jesus Christ died for their sins. I do, New Me. I do. So I got you on that. Fire in My Bones says, is it really undercooked when fight enthusiasts are hungry for these kind of fights? Fair question, Fire in My Bones. And I don't want to be a hypocrite and bitch that they over-marinate fights. And then when they give us a hell of a fight, and maybe it's under-marinated, I bitch and moan. So I hear you, Fire in My Bones. But it is undercooked because David Morrell ain't even had 10 title fights yet. David Benavidez just got here. He just got to headline a pay-per-view. Finally got to fight his first real opponent. So you got a guy who just got on pay-per-view in Benavidez. You got a guy in Morrell who hasn't even had 10 pro fights yet. He's a baby. He's younger than Keyshawn Davis, who fought Anthony Yigit today. Yeah, you could make it now and it would be good, but David Morrell is green, and Benavidez is just getting started as a headliner. So why make it now? Throw Andrade to him, an overpriced older guy who's well into his 30s, who's never going to be some pay-per-view star. Morrell could be a draw one day. 23, 24-year-old, decent-looking Cuban kid who could punch, has a fun style, learning English. So that I do think that fight's undercooked, Benavidez and Morrell. But if you're going to give it to us, it is a hell of a fight. So here we go. What round? Triller cuts? We're not yet. We're La Bala Mendoza and Fundora getting introduced right now. Center ring. So we'll kick off this round by round once we start. Once we get going. This is going to be a war. You already know it's going to be a war. If Mendoza can make something dramatic happen with his left hook, maybe he finds life. But if not, it's going to look like a Sebastian Fundora fight. He's going to get overwhelmed and beaten up. Because that's what Sebastian Fundora does to people. So, What were David Benavidez' pay-per-view numbers? Tell the truth, Sean. Sonia, I got to step my journalism game up. I don't have those sources yet. I think it did somewhere in the 100s. Probably, in the 150 range, somewhere around that, I would think. 1 to 150, definitely not 200. So that would be somewhere in the 100s, I would guess, 1 to 150-ish. But we're behind, Sean. There is a famine in the land for great fights. These young guys got to fight. That was so well said, Fire in My Bones. You make it hard to argue at that point. You're right. When we fuck the sport up by letting fights over-marinate to, where they never even happened. And I'm not just picking on Spence and Crawford and Mayweather-Pacquiao took forever. Gamboa and Juanma Lopez never fought. So shit like that. Jacobs and Charlo never fought. So you're kind of right, Fire in My Bones. Because it's like push comes to shove. Either take the fight now undercooked or do what boxing tends to do, which is marinate it, and then it never happens anyways. You got to just take it when you can get it. So very fair point, Fire in My Bones. The Bronco Kid said Fundora is the new Diego Corrales. Interesting. You know what? Shout out to my man, the Bronco Kid. I've never heard that before. Not the worst compared. Both freakishly tall for their division. Punch hard. Corrales was a better puncher. Wasn't as freakishly tall as Fundora. I think Corrales so far. I like Fundora. He's not a gimmick. He's a legit, tough 154 pounder for anybody, including Charlo. but he's not as great as Chico Corrales. Corrales was a top 10 pound-for-pound guy. I think Corrales is a Hall of Famer. I don't know if Fundora is going to quite be that good. So, but a good comparison. Two freakishly tall guys that are never going to be in a bad fight. Corrales was a better puncher. But, yeah, but we'll see, man. Fundora is undefeated. He could wind up reaching the heights Chico did. Here we go. Round 1. Set to get started right here. The Towering Inferno, Sebastian Fundora against La Bala, Brian Mendoza, talented Cuban-American kid who's going to have to come up big with his left hook tonight like he did against Jason Rosario. Round 1, here we go. The 6'6" southpaw, Sebastian Fundora, starting with his jab from the outside. Starting with his jab. We don't always see that from Fundora. Good jab by Fundora, and I got a super chat from my man Jameson Childress I got to get to once this round 1 concludes. Fundora keeping Mendoza on the end of his jab to start round 1. We don't always see that from him. Sometimes he'll give up his height and just want to get inside and bang and throw that big uppercut, those 3-4s. But starting round 1 behind the jab is Fundora, keeping Mendoza on the outside. Mendoza, straight right hand, touching the chin a little bit there, though. Despite being kept on the outside of that jab, Fundora keeping him on the outside of the jab, throws his first left uppercut. Another jab. Couple of jabs landing for Fundora early, keeping Mendoza on the end of it. Mendoza trying to throw his first 2 left hooks, but he's way outside, way too far out in range to get that hook off. Again, trying to get that hook off, and he eats a jab because he's just too far out. He's going to have to work his way in before trying to throw that left hook. That left hook is in no man's land, way out there like that. Now he steps in and gets a left hook to the body, past Fundora's jab. Fundora landing that jab. Mendoza trying to split it with a straight right hand against the southpaw, falling short because he's on the end of that jab. Another jab lands for Fundora. Mendoza moving over to his left, staying on the outside. Trying to throw a couple of left hooks, straight right hands to the body by Mendoza, but he walks into the jab, trying to do it. Halfway through the first round. Mendoza picking those gloves up. Staying on the outside, though. He's going to have to find a way to find an angle on the inside because he's being kept in no man's land in round 1. Now he steps off to his left, tries to jab his way in, but Fundora steps off as well and keeps him on the outside with the jab. Now Fundora trying to hook off the jab, misses. Mendoza moving out of range. Mendoza trying to zip in with some body shots here, and there steps in with a straight right hand to the body against Fundora. Fundora staying disciplined behind the jab, lands it, throws it again, gets Mendoza on the ropes. Mendoza shuffling his feet off to the left, but getting kept in a distance that doesn't favor him in round 1. Mendoza near the ropes, dips down from a couple of touch jabs and moves off to his left, using his movement left to right here in round 1. Falling short with a straight right hand to the body, being kept on the end of that jab from Fundora. Fundora more patient than we're used to seeing him here in round 1. Double, triple jab, all falling short, but keeping Mendoza on the outside even when he's missing it. Mendoza trying to jab to the body, throws a hook to the body way off, way too far out. Straight right hand to the body, a little short on the end of that jab still. And that is as slow as a... Oh, left uppercut lands for Sebastian Fundora at the bell when Mendoza tried to jump in a little bit there. And outside of that left uppercut, it was all the jab dictating the range and the distance where he was in no man's land for much of that round. Got a super chat I got to get to from my man Jameson Childress. Thank you, my man, for the 5. Will we ever see you back with the team on the Porter Way, my man? You guys have great chemistry. You definitely haven't seen the last of me on the Porter Way. It's just various obligations and having to get things up off the ground for myself on FightHype. But those guys are my brothers. I love those guys, Carson, Ant, and Sean, and they're taking off without me right now. Even without me, their last stream with Riddick Bowe and Zab Judah did hundreds of thousands of views combined, so they're flying high. Porter Way is a great show with or without me on the panel, but yeah, you haven't seen the last of me on there, but I'm just holding it down right now here on FightHype, getting this stuff off the ground. So appreciate the super chat, man. Here we go into round 2, and that was a slower first round, as you'll see from Fundora. Just keeping Mendoza on the outside of the jab. And maybe waiting for Mendoza to get brave and start taking chances, and that's when he can start shooting off that left uppercut like he did at the bell to end round 1. So here we go with round 2. Fundora measuring again with the jab. Mendoza just staying on the outside, trying to either, figure out how am I going to get in here. Now he steps in nicely, and Fundora getting away from the shots, dipping down a little bit. But nice step in, good explosiveness of hands and feet there by Mendoza. Didn't get it in. Now Mendoza along the ropes, dips underneath the right hook, gets away from the sweeping left hand to the body. Oh, now they exchange. Fundora landing a left uppercut with Mendoza trying to get in that left hook up top, but was a little bit short, and Fundora got in the uppercut. Minute into the second, Mendoza trying to be smart. Now lunges in with a right hand, just as I say that, and falls short against the tall Fundora. Fundora staying disciplined with his distance, though, against this guy. Jab, jab, jab to the body by Fundora. Even when it's not fully landing, it's dictating range. And keeping Mendoza too far out to where he can't land those straight right hands to the body. He's trying here and there. Double jab by Fundora. Good defense by Mendoza, though, with some of these jab parrying, some of them moving around. Now he throws another wild straight right hand, or winging right hand that falls well short because he's not stepping inside. Fundora's not just going to step forward and walk into that right or left hook. Mendoza's going to have to create, and he's not doing that right now. He's staying on the outside, not getting hit with power shots, but, letting that jab just dictate. And he's moving around left to right, picking the occasional spot to try to jump in. But I don't know if jumping in is going to get it done. You got to be consistently close that gap little by little. Fundora, minute left in this round, dictating off the jab. Not putting together the thunder just yet. He wants this guy to step in with him. And if he's not doing that, he's just staying disciplined behind the jab. So if you hated the fact that Fundora didn't use his jab enough, maybe you like a little bit of what you're seeing here. It's not terribly accurate. He's not knocking the head up of Mendoza with it consistently or anything like that. But he's keeping him on the outside, dictating the range, the pace, and the round. And Mendoza not finding answers way far out like that right now. Staying on the end of the jab, attempting the occasional punch, but from too far out. 20 seconds left in the round. It's about to be 2-zip Fundora. Straight right hand to the body by Mendoza. Tries to throw a straight right hand up top, but hits the chest of Fundora, falling short. 10 seconds left. Decent defense by Mendoza, no offense. Tries to shoot the right hand up top, tries to shoot the right hand to the body. Fundora just off with the left uppercut. Mendoza not diving, jumping in close enough to walk into that uppercut like Fundora wants him to. Two of the most boring rounds you'll ever see from Sebastian Fundora. 20-18, Sebastian Fundora, all off the jab. So, man. AI said, how is Gotti in the Hall of Fame but not Corrales? I think this term is overused, but I believe they call it white privilege. No, I'm just being... And I'm Italian and from New York and love Arturo Gotti, but there's no fucking way he should be in the Hall of Fame and Diego Corrales isn't. I think Gotti should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way, because he was an exceptional action fighter. He was in 4 separate Fight of the Years and did win 2 world titles. But Diego Corrales was in maybe the greatest fight of the new millennium, 05 against Castillo. He was a top 10 pound for pound. He beat guys like Casamayor, Freitas, Castillo, Robert Garcia. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, no doubt about it. But I think Gotti deserved to be in there too because he was an exceptional action fighter. I think he may hold the record alongside Carmen Basilio and Ray Robinson for the most Fight of the Years fought in a career. So here we are in round 3. And Mendoza's going to have to find some answers here, or else he's just going to get jabbed on the outside to the death all night. And double jabs from... Oh, now he steps in with a straight right hand, falls a little short on the chest. But if he can find a way to close that gap a little closer, he can maybe find that right hand on that high-up chin of Fundora. Fundora staying on top of Mendoza, backing him up behind the jab. Tries to shoot off that left uppercut there. Mendoza gets his head away from it and gets into the clinch. They fought in the clinch, waiting for the ref to break them apart. Mendoza tries to punch with a free hand one time, and they break apart. Left uppercut smothered by Mendoza. Fundora trying to walk him into that left uppercut. Mendoza smothered it there. Now back on the outside. Oh, sweeping over a right hand. Almost landing on the top of Fundora's head, but not quite. Fundora getting in a left hand close in the clinch. Fundora holding with one hand, trying to get free with that left hand. Mendoza really holding on tight in the clinch. And the referee telling him, hey, keep your head up in that clinch. Oh, Fundora now left uppercut on the inside by Fundora. Mendoza stayed on the inside with him for a second and ate that left uppercut. That is Fundora's best shot. Jab setting up the left uppercut. Now Mendoza having to pause along the ropes. Left uppercut setting up body shots. Left uppercut up top again from Fundora. Now Mendoza not willing to really exchange on the inside. He doesn't want to fight in there. And it was a hard right hook to the body inside by Fundora. Fundora, right hand inside, landing close, and he's catching on the guard everything Mendoza's throwing on the inside. Despite Mendoza being the shorter, compact fighter, he's getting the worst of it on the inside. That left uppercut is money for Sebastian Fundora on the inside. He loves that shot. Got a good right hook to the body, too. Now, Mendoza with a free right hand in the clinch, banging away to the rib cage, reddening up that tall rib cage of Fundora a little bit. Oh, Mendoza, good footwork. Spun his way off the... Just missed with a left uppercut, spinning his way off the ropes. Good footwork by Mendoza, getting off the ropes, but not landing anything with that footwork. Fundora pegging away, just hammering away with a free left hand in the clinch. Hammering away short shots on the clinch on the inside. Mendoza still clinching, but getting hit with that free hand, and the ref finally breaks him apart. 20 seconds left. Jab lands for Fundora, but he ate a right uppercut. Right uppercut snuck in there for Mendoza, but Fundora, Margarito style, just walked right through it. 10 seconds left. Mendoza not getting his respect with that uppercut. Backing away, backing away. Right hand falls short on the shoulder of Fundora, and that'll do it for round 3. 30-27 Fundora. When Mendoza was forced to stand in the pocket, he ate some hard left uppercuts, and that's why he's on his bike a lot. Not engaging a whole lot with Sebastian Fundora. 30-27 Sebastian Fundora. AI asks, was Arturo Gatti ever top 10 pound for pound at any point of his career? No. But he did beat Tracy Harris Patterson for the IBF's junior lightweight title, and he beat Gianluca Branco for a WBC belt they stripped from Costa Zoo at 140. So he was a 2-time champion. Left uppercut landing for Fundora on the inside. That's his best punch, that left uppercut, and that's it on the slow-mo replay by Showtime. Bad IQ from Fundora, says my man Lucius Tate. Good to see you, Lucius Tate. I mean, he's using his jab, keeping him on the inside, and he's not letting go of that left uppercut until Mendoza's in range. So I think he's showing some decent IQ here. But maybe it could be better for sure. The overhand right is there for Mendoza if he sets it up, fire in my bones. Yeah, but he's not setting it up. He's just winging it on the outside in no man's land where he's too far out. So he's got to set it up like you said. 4th round, here we go. Mendoza has some foot speed and some angles that if he takes more chances, maybe he can make something happen for himself. But right now, he's very timid, attempting the occasional, right hand here and there. But for the most part, he's getting kept on the outside where Fundora's getting off first and dictating behind the length. And daring him to walk forward so he can hit him with a left uppercut. And Mendoza rarely obliges and takes that chance to walk forward. He's weary of that uppercut. Fundora keeping him on the outside of the jab. A minute into this 5th. 2 jabs land for Fundora, keeping him on the outside. Not super accurate with the jab, but just keeping him at the end of it constantly. Mendoza falling short with a straight right again. Using his legs to get out of the way of harm at times. Now he's near the ropes. Straight left hand gets blocked by Mendoza for Fundora. Left uppercut gets in a little bit there for Fundora. Fundora still keeping him on the ropes behind the jab. But then he gets out. Good feet by Mendoza getting off the ropes. He's got some good feet that if he shuffles them around Fundora, who's not as quick with his feet, maybe he could set up an angle for something. But he's just not taking chances right now, guys. Halfway through the round, Fundora not looking on fire either. Hasn't been the offensive dynamo he likes to be with a guy not willing to engage. Mendoza landing that right hand to the chest, not even close. Fundora stepping in, getting him in the corner, sweeping left hand. Mendoza gets underneath it, coming back with the right hook. Mendoza gets underneath it, and then a nice body shot with all that head movement going on by Fundora. Minute left in the round. Mendoza continuing to fall short with the right hand, sometimes hitting the chest. That's the closest he's getting with it. Hits the chest of Fundora again with the right hand. Steps in with the right hand again, falls short. On the end of Fundora's jab, back near the ropes. Now he slides off to his left. A little right hook catches him as he tries to slide off the ropes. shot lands for Fundora there. Fundora staying on top of Mendoza from corner to corner, from rope to rope, but not terribly accurate himself. And not willing to commit to anything behind the jab. Just wants to keep Mendoza on the end of the jab and wait for Mendoza to try to cut the distance and walk him into an uppercut. But Fundora, if this keeps up and he wants to look impressive, may have to start thinking of firing combinations behind his jab, getting off first, if he wants to look impressive. If he doesn't care and it's just about getting the win, he can win the fight like this all night long, just keeping a timid, not trying to engage Mendoza on the end of his jab, piling up rounds. And here we go at the end of the round. Mendoza stepping in again with that sweeping, but it's falling short. It's close to the chin, but falling too short. And that's another Fundora round, 40-36 thus far. The most dull fight I've seen Sebastian Fundora. And a lot of that has to do with the opponent. But pretty soon, if the object isn't just to win and is to look impressive, Fundora's going to have to start putting something behind that jab that he's backing Mendoza up with. I know that opens up opportunities for Mendoza that he doesn't really need to afford him because he's winning every round. But he's going to put people to sleep. He's going to put the 500 people that showed up to that fight to sleep if he can't put some offense together against a guy not willing to engage. Big Offner said, do I watch MMA? I don't. Never really watched MMA. I'd be lost. I'm only a boxing guy. Fire in My Bones says Fundora isn't moving his head at all. He never does, Fire in My Bones, but to be fair, there's hardly any punches coming his way to make him move his head. Although I know what you mean. That right hand keeps falling right here on his chest, and his chin is just stationary. That right hand was just an inch or two closer. It could be a problem. We talk about Ryan Garcia leaving his chin up. Fundora leaves his chin up as well. Here we are in the fifth. Mendoza trying to reach to the body, but it's just that, reaching, not landing. Reaching to the body again with a left hook. He tries to reach with the right hand to the body, and Fundora landing that left uppercut. That's the shot. That's Fundora's game plan. He wants to keep him on the end of the jab and then dare him to actually get into range. At that point, it's left uppercut time. That's been the game plan for Fundora. Yeah, smash the like if you're enjoying the round by round. Thank you, MAW, for saying that. Absolutely. Oh, left uppercut lands for Sebastian Fundora. Mendoza began to take some chances. He walked into the left uppercut, but then he got inside and is trying to rough up Fundora on the inside. Can Mendoza start to take some chances? Mayweather Point of View channel, thank you for the super chat, my man. Thank you, brother, for the super chat. Appreciate that. Fundora landing a left hand. Staying on top of Mendoza. Backing him up with the jab. Mendoza coming over the top with the right, but Fundora just coming forward behind it anyways. Fundora starting to open up the offense now. Brings in a right hook behind a sweeping left hand. Mendoza just holding on, not wanting to engage in this fight. Throws this overhand right out of the clinch after trying to smother Fundora. A little right hand gets in the clinch for Mendoza. But those are punches where you don't feel safe against a fighter. Whenever you see a fighter try to smother, and then punch out of the smother, and then smother again, it's because they don't really feel confident in their offense and defense at any real exchange punching range, close range, mid-range. They just trying to smother, not get hit with nothing, hold, and then hit again. And that's what Mendoza's trying to do right here with no real success. Now a left hand to the body, sets up a right hook up top, and a right hook up top for Fundora. Right uppercut lands for Fundora. If Mendoza dares to stay inside, Fundora is going to punish him. He's forced to stay inside. Those legs are making him stay inside, and Fundora punishing him a little bit here on the inside, and the blood is beginning to flow from the face of Mendoza now, just from staying in there for a little bit. And that left uppercut gets in for Mendoza, but no effect. Right uppercut gets in nasty for Fundora. And short left hand gets in. Left uppercut for Fundora. Left hand to the body sets up a right hook on the inside for Fundora. Here comes the offense now, since Mendoza's legs won't allow him to keep moving. Fundora pounding on Mendoza in the clinch with a free left hand. 20 seconds left in the round. Mendoza's starting to look a little broken down now. Tired left hook attempt by Mendoza there, and Fundora hitting him all over the place on the inside. This guy loves the inside despite all that height. Loves the inside, loves the uppercut. Left uppercut, right hook for the 4-3. And Mendoza's face is busting up, and he is going back to his corner, busted up now, bleeding from the nose. And I'm not seeing a whole lot from him that's going to turn this fight around. He's in over his head right now. 5 rounds to nothing for Sebastian Fundora. And a lot of energy has been wasted by Mendoza with all that movement and not letting go of any punches that he may already have his gas tank starting to go, despite not opening up because he's wasted so much energy in other ways. Mayweather Point of View channel, thank you so much, man, for the 2 super chat. Oh, Stacy! What's up, Stacy? What's up, Stacy? Hey, Stacy, you my man Stacy Mayweather in the chat. Stacy, a Mayweather, so you already know he loves his boxing, knows his boxing. And if Stacy feels like the commentary is good enough to donate a super chat, I'm fucking happy with it. Thank you, Stacy. Much love to you, brother. So, Stacy, man, we had that Italian dinner a couple years ago with Ben. We got to do that again, brother. So, here we go. Round 6 now for Sebastian Fundora. And if Mendoza stays on the inside, that's where the punishment comes. And that's why he's been movement, staying on the outside, even where he has no... On the outside, he has no chance to win, but at least he's not getting punished. And that's why you're seeing the shorter guy with no chance on the outside stay on the outside. Man, it must be so hard being in that ring with Fundora, the imposing size in this weight class, man. It's daunting. On tape, you're like, his chin's up, he gives up his height, you could nail him and hurt him, but then you're in the ring and you're like, God damn, he's just so big and throws so many punches. And that's what Mendoza is encountering right now. Mendoza trying to smother on the inside, and that's what I mean. When you see a guy either trying to be too far out or too far in, left hook for Mendoza finally lands, and then the left hook to the body, finally getting in a couple shots, but maybe not a lot of steam on him because he's used a lot of movement, and that saps some of his energy. So those left hooks, they weren't like a whip, but they finally did get in on Fundora. Fundora left uppercut on the inside. Mendoza having to stay in range. Left uppercut gets in again for Fundora, but he lands a sweeping right hand, but 2 left uppercuts bust him right back up. Mendoza clinching after eating those uppercuts. Referee breaks him apart, and the referee is beginning to tell him too much clinching now. You could tell fatigue setting in for Mendoza. Left hand to the body lands inside for Fundora, then a jab as Mendoza tries to back out. Mendoza eats a left uppercut on the inside, and he holds. Mendoza too tired to move around a lot, so sometimes he's just trying to smother and clinch and not let Fundora get full leverage. Left uppercut on the inside for Fundora again with his back on the ropes, so didn't get full leverage on it. Short left hand on the inside for Fundora again. Mendoza just trying to smother on the inside, not trying to fight. And his trainer's going to have to think of stopping this pretty soon because he can't fight him on the inside and he can't fight him on the outside. And he's taking punishment. So, 91 punches landed to 54. Advantage for Fundora. Double jab, keeping Mendoza on the end of the jab. Mendoza in the corner. Those legs can't move like they used. Let's go of a right hand, but he eats 3 punches in return. Left uppercut lands for Fundora on the inside, and Mendoza tying up again. He's tired. Left hand to the body on the inside for Fundora. Left uppercut on the inside for Fundora. Mendoza let go of a shot, eats a left uppercut again. Left uppercut on the inside. Right hook on the inside. All for Fundora. 6th round ending. Mendoza letting go of his hands here at the end of the round. Not a lot of steam on those. Landed a left hook, but not a lot of steam on it. And Salas should probably stop this fight. Stacy with the 5. Again, thank you, man. I know the Mayweather's got some money, so I know that $5 not hurting you, Stacy. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate that. Thank you, Stacy. But, Lisa Snow says Fundora needs to move to heavyweight. No. He needs to stay at this weight class as long as he can. His height is his gift in this weight class with that uppercut, and, he's going to be most effective here. Oh, that left uppercut, boy. Shoryuken! Tiger uppercut! That's Sebastian Fundora, folks. And it hasn't been as many 4-3s and 3-4s. It's just been the uppercut. Man, round 7, and I think Salas should start thinking of stopping this fight, man. His kid is getting beat up on the inside. He's in no man's land on the outside. His legs are tiring, so he's just clinching and trying to smother to stay safe. Oh, nice right hand, though. I get it. Right hand just off the mark by Mendoza, and then the left hook. Fundora does not move his head like some of you said in the chat. His chin is always right there. So it's tempting to leave your guy in there. But I just don't think it's going to happen for him. But Salas is a tough guy. He's a tough trainer. He's going to leave his fighter. Oh! Left hook lands for Mendoza! Right down goes Sebastian Fundora! He's out! He's out! He's not going to get up! He's not going to get up! The left hook from Mendoza! It's over! It's over! Sebastian Fundora was knocked out by that left hook of Mendoza just when I said he's not going to land it. And it's over. It's over. Brian Mendoza bleeding from his nose, bleeding from his mouth. That's why Salas is a trainer and I'm sitting here in this fucking chair because he didn't stop the fight and he gets the left hook knockout. What a knockout. The knockout of the year. Fundora doesn't know where he is. Fundora is asking the ref, like, where am I? He was up 6 rounds. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what he was hit with. Fundora, you live by the sword. You die by the sword. He wants to punish these guys on the inside, leaving that chin there. And he gets caught. Huge credit to Mendoza. Thought he was done. He wasn't in this fight at all. But his shots were just short. And he hung in. What a left hook. I told you guys before the fight, his only chance was that left hook. And I thought that chance had passed him by because I thought all the movement he expended, all the punishment he took, meant he wouldn't have enough steam on that left hook even if he landed it, but he did. It's a 7th round knockout, not a TKO. He could not beat the 10 count. He didn't know where he is. Brian Mendoza, 7th round knockout of the year right now. Oh, man. Woof. Sorry, folks. I got hyped. Like, my goodness. Fire in my bones. You called it, my brother. You called it. Man. Stacy, you're on the road. That was a pretty good call, right? Thank you, Stacy, my man. All day for the super chat. We got to have some dinner with Ben when you back and when we got everyone together. But, wow. Wow. Oh. And the commentators, I really am becoming a commentator guy. Guys, because they call it the commentator's curse. I don't think Mendoza, he's out of this fight. Salas might want to start thinking of it. And down he goes! I really am becoming a commentator. I got the commentator's curse. Wow, what a left hook by Mendoza. I told you guys before the fight, that was his only chance. But I thought that chance had passed him by. He had the stuffing beaten out. There wasn't going to be enough steam in that left hook anymore. I didn't see that steam at the end of round 6. But he got it. Oh, man. Brian's always been such a great kid, and Salas is a tough. There's some trainers who would have maybe stopped that fight already. Fundora was throwing the left uppercut from too far out, like he likes to do. He was doing a good job of just jab, 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 and don't let that left uppercut come until that kid steps into it. He threw it from too far out. Boom, the left hook. And he was out on his feet. He didn't know where he was. And then Mendoza over the top with the right hand for good measure to end it. Knockout of the year as far as I'm concerned for Brian Mendoza. Ooh-wee! Lisa Snow, maybe you're right. The weight cut was too much. Damn, but he would have got knocked out by a middleweight, a super middleweight Lisa Snow. It would have been even worse against one of those guys. But that may be it for Fundora, man. That may be it. He's one of those guys that he was going to keep a snowball going downhill until you stop it. I don't know, because, yeah, man, that, woof. Stacy, you too kind, brother, with the 20. Thank you, man. Thank you, Stacy. Now I got to buy Stacy Mayweather dinner because of all these super chats next time I see him. Thank you, Stacy. As a matter of fact, when I hop off this live, that $20 paying for some fried rice. Do you says great job, Sean. Thank you guys. That was fun, man. There was only about 350 of us. Right, this was one for the hardcores. This wasn't no Tommy Fury, Jake Paul, but my God. T-Mac149 said Fundora's punch resistance never been that good, to be honest. Yeah, he's always had a reaction. He's never been one of those guys that eats the shot and it doesn't move his chin around or snap his head around. He has always been one of those guys where if you hit him, it snaps the head up. Guys with that great granite chin, Canelo and Hagler and Chavez and Floyd Mayweather, a lot of times when they get hit, the head doesn't snap or react. And sometimes, to the naked eye, watching at full speed, you don't even know the shot landed or grazed or partially split the guard because they have a granite chin and the head didn't snap around at all. Other guys, not with that granite chin, you can snap the head around when you land clean, and it scores easier for the judges. And so, beyond having a great chin, being able to take a great shot, that's another aspect that's good for you in having a great chin, is the partial shots don't rattle the head around, and it don't score as much to the audience and to the judges. So, technically 500 plus if we count, but thank you. That's right. Let's not undersell ourselves. We had over 500 people for this shit. Man, my God, that was fun. Man. Oof, it's almost 10. That's about all I got for you guys. Is there anything chat wants me to address before we get out of here? Shakur Stevenson gets an A. He fought a perfect fight, but the man of the hour is now Brian Mendoza. I'm sorry. Shakur Stevenson, best fighter of the night. Although I didn't get to see Bam fight. I gotta catch up on Bam. But Shakur, he gets the A. He did his thing. Fought a perfect fight. But Mendoza, with the performance of the night, having that heart, getting dominated for 6 rounds, and then pulling a knockout out of nowhere. Just incredible. Stacy, you too kind, man. You make me feel bad. Thank you, brother. Thank you. But again, I know the Mayweathers are paid, so it's cool. I don't have to feel too bad. But thank you, Stacy. And BT, I see you in the chat, BT. We gotta go to dinner with Stacy again at Nora's. So, man. The Bronco kid said Sean Porter will be happy. He's been saying this is coming for Fundora. He has. Sean has said that for a really long time. Marvelous Irv, happy Easter, my brother. Happy Resurrection Day. God bless. And always great to have you, Marvelous. Happy Easter to everyone in the chat, man. Tank wanting to fight Inoue and not Haney thoughts to Sean French. I do think it's funny that if we bring up Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson, it's Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Next question. But if someone for some reason brings up Naoya Inoue, they'll entertain that question. That's just kind of funny to me. So, yeah. Why do they not entertain the Haney fight? Because it's not a fight they want to do right now. Because they're with different promoters, and Haney with that long jab could beat Tank. And you don't take a fight with a guy that could fuck up all the money unless he's bringing in a lot of money too. So that's how I look at it. Thank you, Abel Perez. Thank you. Uber Eats, yes. All day, Stacy. Happy Easter, Crazy Horse. I almost want to bring the fam in to say happy. Let me see. I want to bring the fam upstairs to sign us out and say happy Easter. We'll see. Got my wife downstairs with my son. Anything else? Yeah, Inoue, BT, literally. Lubin versus Fundora rematch. Raphael 30. Great to see you, Raphael 32. Yeah, that'd be dope. Lubin versus Fundora rematch. I'm with that. Fundora. Yeah, well, King said Fundora about to cry. Fundora's a great kid. He's a great kid. Very nice to interview. Not just humble and meek. He's confident. He was confident bringing the smoke into the super welterweight division. And a fan-friendly fighter. Part of why he got knocked out tonight is because he wanted it to be a fight. And he could have just kept him on the outside of his jab, but he wants to open up. He throws that uppercut from too far out. He wasn't content to just win every round behind his jab. And he got caught doing that. And, that's what makes him a fan-friendly fighter. Who's that? My son Leo? Come on in. Sign us out. Come here, Leo. Say bye-bye to everybody. What are you number one? Show everybody who's number one. Oops. Here. Hold up, son. Go ahead. Tell them who's number one.
Leo.
Leo's number one?
Yeah.
Will you say bye-bye, everybody?
Bye-bye, everybody.
Say Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Say God bless.
God bless.
Do boxing. Show them some punches.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh! Okay. Love you, babe. It's our anniversary, so we're going to enjoy our 1-year anniversary. Thank you, everybody. Much love. Happy Easter. And everyone in the chat, especially Stacy. You were the MVP, Stacy. Thank you, everybody. And have a great rest of the night. Keep it locked in here on Fight Hype. We got Joe Joyce next Saturday. I'll be doing a live round by round for that. Michaela Mayer, dope, undercard fighting the only girl that Bumgardner lost to. So we'll be calling that, and we got interviews coming throughout the week. So shout out to everyone in the chat, and much love to everybody. Have a great rest of the weekend.